been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Hugh, Woozencroft and double Arsenal title winner Perry Groves are with you for the next 3 hours. A host of live sport to keep you up to date with, including a potentially final day at the Oval in the 5th test between England and India. Sam Millard is watching.
England 191 for 3, needing a further 183 runs for victory. Brooks got 53, Roots got 35. A chance for India after lunch. Brooke cutting a short ball from Krishna, took a thick edge, went over slips, raced away for 4. England going along nicely here. The 4th wicket partnership is worth 85 runs. The target for victory for England, 374. England 191 for 3.
The Hungarian Formula 1 Grand Prix just underway. Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri on the front row. How have things begun? Tom Clayton.
Well, the lights are just lighting up on the grid as we speak. 4 drivers within a 10th of a second in qualifying yesterday. This time a year ago, Oscar Piastri took a controversial first win of his career. He's going for a 9th today in total. Lights out just started at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
2 of the likely promotion chasers met in League One earlier. It was Stockport who beat Bolton 2-0, with this Carl Wotton's goal sealing it for those.
Plenty of options in the middle. Outswinger towards the back post. Heading goal was by Wotton, and it's 2-0. And that should be the game wrapped up. Kyle Wotton stooping low to head beyond the helpless Teddy Sharman-Lowe. 2 goals, 1 late in each half, and Stockport County looking to put playoff disappointment behind them. Will be starting the new League One season with victory. They lead Bolton Wanderers by 2-0.
Later, Celtic will look to respond to a lacklustre Rangers as they take on St Mirren. Paul Mitchell.
Celtic and St Mirren start the season as they ended the last 5 playing each other at Celtic Park. The title Celtic won last term is being celebrated with Flag Day today. Former skipper Paul McStay returns to unfurl the championship flag, Celtic's 55th title, and they start as clear favourites to rack up title number 56 come next May.
And the best in UK athletics are going for gold at the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham. talkSPORT's Michael Waddock's watching.
25 finals on day 2. Those with the qualifying standard who finish in the top 2 here will automatically be selected for the World Championships in September. Morgan Lake has just won the British high jump title. She's going to Tokyo, and joining her in the 400-metre hurdles, Lena Nielsen has also just made the team. Jasmine Sawyers continues her comeback from serious injury shortly. Paris 2024 medalist Dina Asher-Smith, Georgia Hunter-Bell and Josh Kerr also in action today.
You are listening to the Sunday session, all that and much, much more here on talkSPORT. As ever, if you want to join the conversation, you can give us a call and have a chat on this Sunday afternoon, 03717 at 223344. You can text us as well. Join the conversation. We need your help with most of it, including our songs of the weekend on 81089. Perry Groves, my friend, how are you?
Good afternoon. So you're staying with us, taking your jacket off.
Just decided to settle in, yeah. Bit warm.
Hope we get the weather expecting.
Bit warm. You know what the studio's like. You sometimes come in, it's freezing. Sometimes it's boiling. I've just got to cool myself down.
It's better to be freezing cold. It keeps you focused, keeps you on it, rather than like too hot and balmy. Makes you a little bit too more relaxed.
What's more uncomfortable? I've just come back from Saudi Arabia. Let me tell you, the heat is unbelievable. It's so uncomfortable. Honestly, you walk out.
Furnace.
It's like a furnace.
Yeah.
I mean, if the wind blows on you, you genuinely think someone's like standing beside you with a hairdryer on a hot setting. Like, you're like, who's there? It's so forceful, very uncomfortable. So I'd prefer to be chilly.
So what you're saying as well, it's not conducive for us gingers.
It wouldn't be great for you. No. Night times are good, when the sun goes down, but daytime, no, so absolutely not.
Vampires.
Yeah. It's a lot like that. That's what it's like out there. Listen, we're going to get into a little bit later on. Just wanted to start the show by saying I do have a bit of a husky voice. You always have one, Perry. It's a natural thing for you. Me, I'm usually a bit sharper with the old. But it was Leanne Sanderson's wedding yesterday. My work wife from Thursday evenings here on talkSPORT. Congratulations, Mrs. and Mrs. Sanderson. It was an unbelievable party. It was just brilliant. The music, start to finish, brilliant. I know music's a big theme on this show. You'll all be helping us with some great tunes throughout the afternoon. She and her missus absolutely nailed it. Was it 80s
and 90s?
They had a singer called Red. A wedding singer. Check her out on social media. Incredible Scottish singer. A group called Mike Lowry, who were on Britain's Got Talent, like a quintet, R&B quintet, honestly. And then Spoonie turned up, DJ Spoonie, to get on the decks at the end of the night.
Just when you just think it couldn't get any better.
Mate, the set, I would have paid good money for Spoonie's set last night. All the classics, all the hits coming out. And people think I'm hungover and I was drunk. I actually don't drink. I had a Prosecco to cheers, special occasion and all that, but I actually wasn't drinking. I've lost my voice because I was singing all these old school garage bangers that Spoonie was putting out last night. It was unbelievable. Voice is gone.
Consummate professional, honey and lemon. Just a little bit of honey, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of a gargle, then you'll be all right. But that's the sign, right, of a brilliant wedding and a shared soundtrack, when you just think you're singing to every single song. You know what I mean? It's not, the DJ doesn't indulge and go, I'm going to play the ones that I like. It's like, no, read the room, see the age group of the room, and then play that set list, and everybody goes for it.
Even when the singer was on, she was brilliant. It was all Whitney, Celine, Mariah. It was all my favourites. Right up my street. I was belting them out. It was brilliant. But yes, the voice has gone a little bit. I'm obviously still loud, but not as clear as I have been in the past, so apologies for that, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Listen, let's get into the football. Perry, congratulations once again to Leanne and Ellis, of course, Mrs. and Mrs. Sanderson. But let's get into the football. Tottenham have just played Newcastle United in a friendly 1-1. Brilliant goal from Harvey Barnes, cutting in from the left. That cancelled out Brennan Johnson's early opener. James Maddison stretched it off late in the game. That potentially looks like a serious injury, so we'll wait on more news on that for Spurs fans. The game, I think, as a whole, had this element of farewell for Son Heung-min, who's been absolutely incredible. He says he's going to be leaving Spurs after 10 years. He came off the pitch to a guard of honour from both sides, and he was visibly moved. I mean, he's a lovely... Everyone loves Sonny, don't they? Even if you don't support Spurs, because he's just got that kind of character that makes you kind of... he's just an appealing kind of person, right? He's come in 2015 from Bayer Leverkusen. He scored 173 goals in 454 appearances. He's 33, reportedly in advanced negotiations to go to the MLS and join LAFC in Los Angeles. Let's hear from him. Talking ahead of today's game, he explained his decision to leave the club.
Before we start the press conference, I just want to share the information that I decided to leave this club in this summer. So, and respectfully, it's a club and it's helping me to my decision. So, I just want to share this information before we start the press conference. So, thank you.
Now, Perry, I know you're an Arsenal man. You're not one for kind of giving out loads of compliments to the other side of North London, but he has been a great stalwart at that football club.
Do you know what? The biggest compliment I can pay him is, I'd have had him at Arsenal in a heartbeat. You'd have had him at Manchester United in a heartbeat. Even if when Man City at their pomp, their fans would have taken Son at his peak. And if you remember, he got the Puskás goal of the season, didn't he, against Burnley in 2019-20. I was actually at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was actually lucky enough to be there for talkSPORT. And he picks it up at the edge of his box. He goes in between 4 Burnley players. Then there's another 2 that come in. He goes in between them, beats the last man. So he's left 8 in his wake. And then he comes 1v1 with Nick Pope and opens his body out and slots it in with his right foot. It's an unbelievable goal, unbelievable talent. Be able to do that, balance and poise, whatever. But the biggest thing that people miss in that goal is he was defending on the edge of his own 18-yard box in free play. Now, that sums him up to a T, because I've always said, if you want to be classed as an all-time great, which he is at Spurs, he's the 5th highest goal scorer, and the other 4 are all centre forwards: Harry Kane, Jimmy Greaves, Bobby Smith and Martin Chivers, and he plays on the left, basically. You don't have lazy world-class players. They have to work. So it's your talent and your work ethic then puts you onto that level. His numbers are unbelievable for someone who played on the left-hand side. His relationship with Harry Kane is the best for assists for each other in Premier League history. There's 47. It was Son assisting 23 times Harry Kane 24 times for him. But when Harry Kane wasn't in the team and he was injured, Son then took up the mantle and took responsibility wherever he played. He played at centre forward, where he played on the left-hand side. So I would say it's very difficult, because he's a Premier League legend without a shadow of a doubt. He's a Tottenham legend, Premier League legend. Then you have to say, is he an all-time Premier League great? Is he up there with the Thierry Henrys, with the Dennis Bergkamps, with the Ryan Giggses, Paul Scholes? Is he on that level? And the only thing I think that keeps him off of that level is because he didn't win Premier Leagues, but he wasn't in a team that was good enough to win the Premier League. So there's 2 sides of that argument, because if he was in it, he would have got in any one of those teams, because he was that good.
On his talent,
Yeah, without any shadow of a doubt.
But when you talk about the greatest ever in that long list, it's almost like show us your medals, and he doesn't have a Premier League medal. But that's not to take anything away from him, because he has been, like you say, as a player, fantastic. And he played in a Spurs team, which is the best Spurs team we've seen in the Premier League under
Pochettino.
Exactly. So he's got to take credit for that. I think fans will sit back and say, well, it's Tottenham, but he's played for probably the best Tottenham team we've seen in 30, 40 years in English football. So he will have a long-lasting legacy with that football club. There is still a part of me that thinks, had he left 4 or 5 years ago, what more could he have achieved? Could he have actually got that Premier League medal round his neck? Could he have gone off to another country, had a league winners medal? I think he probably could have. Not to say that he regrets staying at Spurs, not to say he should have left, but I'm just saying, if he wanted to have that medal, a bit like Harry Kane's gone to Bayern Munich, he probably would have had to leave the football club sooner.
Yeah, but I think as well, we've seen the way that Isak, we'll talk about him later on, the way he's conducted himself, trying to gerrymander his move to work. Son's not that. We sort of about character. Son isn't that sort of character, because Spurs fans will tell you that they will see him up there with their all-time greats, quite rightly so, because he gave the club the respect, because he knew that Spurs gave him the chance coming from Bayer Leverkusen, obviously where he needed to prove himself. He said he came as a boy at 23, then he had to prove himself in the Premier League. So I think he felt that he owed Spurs something back as well. So it's a shame last season I saw him play and that basically his legs are gone because he relied a lot on his natural pace and his energy. So he still got 7 goals, Premier League goals last season.
But that burst had gone.
Exactly. And and also as a player, we've seen it with Raheem Sterling. As you're a player, when the ball comes to you, you're not going to have that little bit of acceleration to go past. And the defender defending you thinks you ain't going anywhere.
There's a part of me that I looked at his game. He's not the only player who plays out wide. We all know that, especially if you're quick, as you get into your 30s, you're not going to have the same impact in professional football. And a lot of players we've seen move position. There might be a centre forward, drop back into a number 10, or might be a number 10, drop deeper. Exactly. And I looked at Son last season, particularly doing the Thursday nights and the Europa League on talkSPORT, and I was like, he should probably be transitioning into the middle part of the field. And I still think he could be a player in the Premier League and produce as a number 10, maybe as a midfielder, because he's still an intelligent player. But he has to give up on the wing play and the tricks and the skills and trying to blast past people, because physically he just can't do that anymore.
No, we said about the explosive power, and I'm actually, that goal that he scored against Burnley, it was that good that I stood up. I was at the stadium, I stood up and clapped because it was a wow moment. It's like, oh my God, have I just seen that?
So you do appreciate some of the goals when you're at Tottenham?
Yeah, as long as they're not against us, then it's all right. I appreciate a lot of Arsenal goals at Tottenham, trust me.
We know that.
Exactly. But with, I think as well, on a personal level, I'm pleased that he was there when Spurs won the Europa League, because I know he only come on as sub and he would say maybe he was a bit... but he was still their club captain.
He deserved it.
And it's his... we can talk about Man United later on. Culture at football clubs, it's his example and the way that he carries himself and the way that he goes in and trains. And even though he knew that he was just coming over the top of his heel or coming on a downward stuff, didn't cause any problems whatsoever. And I can guarantee you that Postecoglou would say that he was a dream to work. Every single manager would say he was a dream to work with. And that he's a player that got the most out of himself. So now he deserves, at 33, wherever he goes, like semi-retirement, wherever he goes and plays in the MLS, wherever he goes to, he's earned the right to go and do that. And as he said, he wants to enjoy the rest of his career. So, he would have made any team better. But the top teams, if he'd have played for them, they wouldn't have been a drop-off if he was going inside. That's how good he was.
Yeah. Congratulations, I guess, to Son Heung-min for what he's done for Tottenham Hotspur. Looks like he's going to be on his way to the MLS. Guard of honour for him this afternoon in their draw against Newcastle in pre-season. We'll talk Newcastle a little bit later on, and Alexander Isak looks like he's going to be returning to train with the team when they get back to the United Kingdom. Newcastle fans who've got a view on whether you would accept Alexander Isak back with open arms, give us a call, 03717 22 33 44. Okay, let's check in on the cricket. Are England motoring along? They almost lost a wicket there, didn't they, Sam Ellard?
Yeah, they're going along nicely. The total for victory, 374, would be England's second highest in their history. It'd be a record at the Oval. 206 for 3 is the score at the moment. When Duckett and Pope went in the morning session, England was struggling at 106 for 3, but this fourth wicket partnership is now worth 100 runs. Joe Root has 40. Harry Brook not out on 62. Brook's 50 coming off 39 balls. His 14th Test match 50. Brook should have been gone on 19. He was caught on the boundary at fine leg by Mohammad Siraj, but as the fast bowler took the catch, he took one step back and trod on the boundary rope. So Brook was not out and it went for 6 runs. India at the moment just looking like a team that know they're up against it. They brought spin into the attack, but that hasn't changed anything. Well, Brook and Root with the crease, England have a real hope of chasing down this big target and winning this series 3-1. 374 is the total for victory. England 206 for 3.
Let's check in on the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Hungary. Tom Clayton.
Lap number 11 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is currently leading. He's led from pole position, having raced out to a 3-second lead. Oscar Piastri starting to close him in second place. Lando Norris got an absolute shocker off the start, dropped down to 6th. He's now recovered up to 4th and he's been given the hurry up to get past George Russell in 3rd. Max Verstappen trying to go on the charge too in the lead Red Bull this afternoon, but he's only up as high as 7th. Now today is going to be all about strategy and seeing how the teams play things off. Some teams are talking about a 1-stop, some teams are talking about a 2-stop, but there's still no clear indications as of yet. One thing we do know is that Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is leading on lap number 12 of the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Sounds of the weekend.
This is a journey into sound.
On talkSPORT.
Yes, this is Sounds of the Weekend here on the Sunday session. Our first sound focuses on that story. Son Heung-min leaving Spurs after 10 years in North London. Berry, what have you got?
I've got respect, either Eurasia or Aretha Franklin. Too good to be forgotten, the Bell Stars. That's one for the 1980s children. And leaving on a jet plane. Who knows where he's going to go?
It's a long way from over the Atlantic Ocean.
It's a long way to Tipperary then. Yeah. That's even before my time.
Next up, everyone's favourite football hardman turned pundit, Roy Keane, of course. The current Forest captain, Ryan Yates, spilling the beans on Keane's coaching days at the club. Turns out Roy didn't just demand push-ups, but he secretly filmed them to catch slackers. He'd reviewed the footage of training like VAR. Yates said everyone was terrified of ending up on his bad side. He even overslept for training once. Clearly still lived to tell the tale, though. Perry, what have you got?
Somebody's watching me, Rockwell. I can see clearly now. Johnny Nash, a bit of reggae. And I Spy for the FPI. Jambo Thomas. Actually, Spoonie might have played that last night.
Maybe. Okay, all right. Those are our first songs for the sound of the weekend. If you've got some suggestions, you can text them into us on 81089. We'll have our first songs coming right up. And next, we're going to look at Spurs' opponents in that friendly in South Korea today. Newcastle United. Stay with us.
Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
You have been the one for me. Goodbye, my lover. Anxiety, shake it off of me. Somebody's watching me. Is my anxiety.
You're listening to the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Hugh Woozencroft alongside Perry Groves, the former Arsenal wide man, and those are our first two sounds of the weekend. James Blunt, Goodbye My Lover, from Lewis the Fulham fan, who clearly thinks Son Heung-min had a very close relationship with the Spurs fans, and Dochi, their Anxiety, from Pablo, who's a Chelsea fan as well. Roy Keane keeping a very close eye on his Forest players.
It's not being funny. The James Blunt one, Goodbye, I only started crying.
It was about, I mean,
it was perfect.
Son was in tears a little bit earlier on, wasn't he, with that guard of honour. Keep those messages coming in, 81089 on the text, if you want to give us some suggestions for sounds of the weekend. Remember the story, Son Heung-min leaving Spurs after 10 years, Roy Keane reviewing video of his players in training, like VAR, if they weren't up to scratch. So, yeah, let us know what you think on those two on 81089. Just a reminder of what we've got coming up for you this hour. Alexander Isak set to return to Newcastle training, but has he broken his relationship with the Magpies fans forever? What do you think? 03717 223344 on that one. We'll talk Manchester United looking to offload Rasmus Højlund for £30 million. Will that pave a way for them to hijack Newcastle's move, possibly for Benjamin Sesko? Sunday Smiles coming up, including a new look for Manchester City's Josko Carvalho, and later on we'll look back at the start of the EFL season. We'll speak to former Scotland lock Jim Hamilton to discuss the Lions tour down under, and we'll react to the great Tom Brady questioning the work ethic of a certain Wayne Rooney. All that still to come, but we'll begin with Newcastle. Mentioned a little bit earlier on, they had a draw with Spurs in pre-season, but Alexander Isak is very much the man making headlines in world football at the moment. It's reported he's coming back to England and will resume training at Newcastle United. The squad are going to return from their Asian pre-season tour. He missed it, of course. On Friday, Liverpool saw a £110 million offer for the Sweden international rejected. They're said to have no immediate plans to make a second offer due to the nature, it said, of Newcastle's rebuttal, whatever that means. Meanwhile, the Magpies had an offer of 65 million plus 4.3 million in add-ons rejected for the RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko. talkSPORT understands Newcastle fear Sesko might be holding out for a move to Manchester United, but Newcastle are planning to return with another bid. What do you think about that nature of Newcastle's rebuttal? Have they basically been told, get lost, Liverpool, get lost completely, or let us sort out a replacement and then give us a call?
No, I think it will be, he's not for sale, there's no chance, which you have to say, because you just go, well, yeah, it's a good offer, but come back with another one. So it's just to say they got no chance. They can't be seen to be letting Isak go for less than 135 million. That is what he's worth in today's market, without any shadow of a doubt, because now they're on vogue, aren't they, centre forwards? We thought it was a sort of a dying breed, with the false nines and, the little players playing up front. Now the 6 foot plus centre forwards have come back into fashion, and he would be in the top 3 centre forwards in the world, without any shadow of a doubt. So that's the level you're looking at. He's going to grace Newcastle with his presence now, coming back, because I said before, I don't like the way that players conduct themselves. I think you conduct yourself and show the club respect and show your fellow players respect and the fans respect. But in modern day, he doesn't care. He's not bothered.
There's a lot of this at the moment. We've seen Alejandro Garnacho, who's been liking...
Let it go, Hugh. See, you've only took it to half past.
He's been liking Instagram posts from Fabrizio Romano, linking him with a move to Chelsea. Adamola Lookman at Atalanta, he's put in a transfer request. You mentioned Johan Visser, his relationship with Brentford, not too great, although he's meant to be coming back to training as well. What would have happened if that happened back in the Arsenal change room in your day?
We had no power. The players have the power now, especially as their career. I know Isak's contract still got three seasons to go, and it was Paul Mitchell actually put him in this situation in the first place, because he was promised better wages from Amanda Stavely and her hierarchy, because he's only 120 grand a week. And Paul Mitchell went, he went in there, flexed his muscles, don't worry about it. He's got another 4 seasons yet. So then you think, well, just give him what he's worth 200 then, and then you keep him happier for another 2 seasons rather than just the one. So, we did what we were told, basically, because the clubs had all the power, but that's changed around now. But you said about Garnacho tweeting, right? That's not him. We all know it's not the players, it's their people. It's their managers or it's their agents that do the tweeting, right?
I mean, really?
Yeah, 100%. But what has to happen is they work for the player. So worst ways out, it should be run by them. We're going to tweet this out, we're going to put this statement out, we're going to do this. And it's the player who says, no, you work for me. I tell you what you can and can't put out. Garnacho knows that he's not going to be at Manchester. So he doesn't care, but he's not. There's no awareness. He's a young player. There's no awareness there.
I'm interested to know what Manchester United fans think about Garnacho. So 03717 223344. We'll come to him after the break in more detail, and Manchester United generally. Just to take it back to Isak for a second, I did ask the fans earlier on, if you were a Newcastle fan, would you welcome him back with open arms? After this, he's made it quite clear he wants to leave.
It wouldn't be with open arms, but we all know how fickle football is, Hugh. They'll be raging at Isak at the moment because he hasn't shown them the respect that they deserve, and Eddie Howe as well, and the coaching staff, whatever. But if he doesn't go and he comes back first 4 or 5 games of seasons, he gets 4 or 5 goals, then it all gets forgotten about. It'll be mentioned in dispatches, obviously, when he gets his move eventually, but Newcastle will be a better team as long as Isak's attitude is all right. That's the thing you have to worry about as well if he doesn't get his move. But then if attitude stinks the place out and he doesn't keep to that levels at Newcastle, then if he doesn't have another good season, he don't get the move at the end of that. So I think he should have gone about it, and he would have still got his move without all this animosity and out this creating this division. When he comes back tomorrow and the other players will laugh. They ain't going to go, oh, what do you think you're doing? You should be doing this, doing that. But the precedent it sets is if he behaves like that and he gets his move and engineers it, then all of a sudden Guimaraes will think, hold on a minute, if I force a move and I become difficult, then they get rid of me. The person I feel sorry for is Eddie Howe, because this is proven, and he's an excellent manager. He's proven he can handle the pressure at Newcastle. He's proven tactically he can adapt from his 4-3-3, go 4-2-3-1, sometimes goes 3 at the back, wins Newcastle's first major trophy for 70 years. He knows that they have no chance because of the PSR rules of being competitive and going to try and win. No chance. Their best they can ever get is Champions League.
If they can do it again and again and again and again, they then get the opportunity. Obviously, PSR will open up. They'll be earning more money. They've got to do it 5-6 years. But he has to now perform in advance of the, what other teams are spending. He has to now overperform to make sure that Newcastle can get into the Champions League again and again. Because, okay, Villa are held back at the moment, but you see what Chelsea are doing. You see how much money Man United have already spent. Tottenham have been able to spend money as well. They're in the Champions League. Obviously, they finished well down the league, those two clubs. But they will be looking to get back into that picture in the coming seasons as well. And this was an opportunity for Newcastle to build on the good work that they've already done. And they've been unable to. And there's a chance of losing their best player. You feel for Eddie Howe. You feel for the fans as well. I don't like what Isak has done. But you mentioned having no power when you were a player. I think for a modern player, particularly with 3 years left, this may be the only real way of evoking any sort of power, is to do something that looks pretty unsavoury to the fans and the rest of your teammates and the staff at the club. But ultimately, if he doesn't do it, he may never get that dream move that he wants. So I can see it from both ways. I wouldn't want to do it myself if I was a player, but 3 years left, it's tough. It's tough to get out of a football club with 3 years on your deal.
Yeah, but with him, he won't care if he's agitated and he gets his move and the Newcastle fans go against him, because he's never going to go back there in his free time. He'll go back there when he plays and he'll get booed and whatever, but that's like the Pac-Man villain going back in anyway. But as you said there, on a personal level, I wouldn't want people to think that I was a whatever. Do you know what I mean? I would want to leave in the best way possible, where you conduct yourself with a little bit of class, a little bit of respect, and he hasn't done it. But
Did you ever ask to leave?
Yes, I asked. I knew it's completely different, right? But I was at.
I know, but I just want to know what the conversation, what your emotions were like when you decided you wanted to leave.
Yeah,
going into the club saying.
I knew that I got to live at Colchester United when I was 21. That I was too good for Colchester. I was playing in League Two, so I knew, and I went asked to leave. But that back then doesn't matter if you had 3 months on your contract. They could ask for a fee, and even your contract come to an end. Even if they offered you £1 more, they can still ask a fee for you. Do you know what I mean? So they had all the power. But even though I knew I wanted to leave, when I went into training and when I was playing, I didn't want the other players to think that I was a whatever. Because I used to see senior players act up and not try in training and not try in games. And I used to get on my nerves because they used to impact my job. I was trying to win games and their attitude sunk the place. So I wouldn't want to be like that at all. Arsenal, I asked to leave numerous times if I didn't think I was getting a fair go or wasn't getting a side, and George Graham just told me, go and do one, you're not going anywhere. But that's how it was at the time. And then when he came to me and he went, we've had a bid from Southampton, go and talk to them, but if you don't like what we're offering and come back, that's actually saying you're not in my plans anymore. So that's time to move on. But it will be advice as well, the advice that these players, you mentioned Vissa, obviously said about Isak, said about Garnacho, all of their agents and their managers benefit if they get the move. They all know they're getting their 15, 20%. So they don't give the players the advice what would be better for their careers. They give the players the advice that would be better for them. So there's a lot of self-interest. We saw with Gyökeres that there was that 4.5 million at his age. And then I said, Gyökeres tells his agent, wind your neck in, you work for me. I tell you what to do, not the other way around. So in the end, Isak has to take responsibility. I think it might go quiet for a couple of weeks. And the Sesko might, because obviously Newcastle aren't going to buy Sesko unless Isak goes.
We might get some deadline day pictures of Isak in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Big few weeks to come. Of course, we'll keep you right up to date with it across the talkSPORT network. If you've got a view on Newcastle fans, if you've got a view on whether you would welcome back Alexander Isak at this point with open arms, I'm intrigued to hear from you. So give me a call, 03717 at 223344. Let's quickly check back in on the cricket. Sam Allard is watching England and a half century as well, Sam.
Yeah, it's Joe Root's 67th Test 50, England 223 for 3, needing 151 more runs to win. So Root's got 50, Brooks got 69. The partnership now worth 117 runs from just 22 overs. It is getting a little darker at the Oval. The lights are on, clouds are rolling in. England will not want their rhythm to be upset. Looking at the body language of the Indian fielders, they fear the worst. They are on the back foot at the moment. Brook is being the aggressor. Joe Root is the player looking to just sort of almost get Harry Brook on strike as Siraj comes into Harry Brook, a hook shot, and it's going to go away, Hugh, for another boundary. The score now rolls on to 227 for 3. England need just a further 147 runs to win.
Sam, we were just talking about Harry Kane and Son Heung-min, obviously their telepathic understanding. If McCallum wanted 2 players to be in at this time, these are the 2 perfect players, aren't they? These are the yin and yang.
100% England's best 2 players, and they complement each other really well, and you've seen that in this partnership. Harry Brook's been the aggressor when he came to the crease. England needed lots of runs. He thought, I'm going to be on the front foot, I'm going to be aggressive, try and move the score along, while Joe Root at the other end is almost sort of playing second fiddle a little bit, almost just trying to get Harry Brook on strike, put away the bad ball. So yes, as soon as these 2 came to the crease together, if England had any chance of getting close to this target, one of these 2 needed to go big. I really don't want to tempt fate, but they look really, really comfortable at the moment. And India's fielders, the body language isn't there. There's no spin. We're seeing less sea movement today. And this partnership, 122 runs, is going along nicely.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. Let's head to Tom Clayton, who's watching the F1 Grand Prix in Hungary.
Lap number 25 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's Lando Norris who currently leads, but he is not pitted, crucially, while Charles Leclerc, who's in second, and Oscar Piastri, who's in third, they both have it. It looks like a straight shootout between these 2, between Ferrari and McLaren for the race win today. Interestingly, both Leclerc and Piastri have 8 Grand Prix wins each going into today's race. Who's going to come out with that crucial 9th as well? It looks like further down the field, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, they're having a little bit of a battle, but that's for 11th and 12th, both complaining about the strategy, both complaining about the balance of the cars. Now, while it's getting a little bit more cloudy at Lords, as Sam's just been saying, or at the Oval I should say, it is starting to get brighter here. There was a threat of rain at the start of this Grand Prix, but it doesn't look like that's going to materialise, as there's a little bit of action between George Russell, and Fernando Alonso. But we're on to lap number 26. We're into this interesting strategy alignment between the cars on the track here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lando Norris leads from Leclerc and Piastri in second and third.
Next on the Sunday session.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Yes, our latest song for Sounds of the Weekend is Gotcha. That's somebody that I used to know. That's coming from Oliver, the Spurs fan, regarding Son. He hasn't even left the club yet. I mean, how harsh is that? He's already somebody that Oliver used to know.
King's dead, long live the king. See you later. Your history, you're done.
It's a bit of a breakup.
It's a bit of a
breakup song. Yeah, exactly.
Shakespeare's sister, isn't it?
Keep those coming in. You can drop us a text on 81089. Remember the Roy Keane story as well. VAR essentially videoing his players when they're not performing the way he wants on the training ground. Keep those coming in, like I say. Up next, we will take a look at Manchester United. More comments from manager Ruben Amorim.
10k for Coldplay.
Time is running out to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. You'll have 6 tickets, a private box, August 22nd, full hospitality as well, and we'll chuck in 10 grand of spending money. Unbelievable, completely tax-free. It all ends tomorrow night though, so here's how to enter. It is 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. You've got to text the word win to 83338. That's 83338. By the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you'll be in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You've got to have the bill payer's permission. Post your name or number as well if you prefer to Coldplay competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP. That has to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. It's a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions can be found at talksport.com.
You know, you said about Coldplay and clocks, right? That helped. Coldplay and clocks helped me snare my missus. Because when I first started out with Joe, she's miles more eclectic than me, you know, with her fashions and into different cultures, whatever. So I had a CD in my car. It's Buena Vista Social Club doing all remakes of like massive records.
Okay.
So, and it was all in Cuban salsa, you know, and Clocks was the one that I played over and over again. And when I first picked her up, I played this because I knew that she'd think, oh, he's a bit different. He's a little bit cultural. And that was it. I've been with each other for 18 years.
All the tricks of the game from Perry Groves there, just convincing that you are a cultured, stylish person when you're really not.
Not exactly.
They'll
no
never
chance.
know. They'll never know.
Then she spelt the pack of Rabanne and she was like, no, he ain't as cultural. I thought it was.
The Old Spice was going, exactly. That's the voice of Perry Groves, Arsenal title winner, of course. I'm Hugh Woozencroft with you on Sunday sessions today. Just in, Eddie Howe talking about Alexander Isak after that game against Spurs. He was asked whether Alexander Isak will be training with Newcastle this week, and he said, of course I'd like him to be, but whether he will, I don't know at this moment in time. Other people have been dealing with that situation back at home. That lends itself, for me to believe at least, that there is a bit of a sour relationship between the two parties at the moment. All is not well. That's maybe obvious, but, you know, we had reports that he was definitely going to be training. Obviously, that is not clearly the case.
You know what it is? I'm glad Eddie Howe said that because he's going to be asked every single press conference now. It's going to be Isak. All he has to say is, and be honest, it is out of my control. And that's what I was saying earlier about managers and clubs having full control over players. Your star players, you have no control. Because basically, Isak was at Real Sociedad, wasn't he, getting his treatment? And I said before, if you had control over a player, that's like having a £300,000 Lamborghini and getting it serviced at Dave's Autos, you know, ran on some industrial site. Because you've got your asset. Worst ways out, he should be getting treatment at your training ground or your facilities. All the Premier League facilities are like top notch. So Isak is actually dictating to Eddie Howe if he's going to train and when he's not going to train.
It's actually like your Lamborghini saying, I'm not interested in you driving me anymore.
No, I'm right.
Just not letting you open the doors anymore.
Exactly, yeah. I'm taking away the fob, you're done, right? But Eddie Howe is brilliant with the media and he's handled that bit very well because before his narrative was, well, I'm very hopeful that he's going to stay. You know, I've had a chat with Alexander in his season, blah, blah, blah. Now he's just going, I have no control. Yeah. All he's going to be able to deal with is the players that obviously been on tour, they come back, they have tomorrow off, obviously after they've landed, whatever. The difficulty comes is when he's in and around the training ground and getting treatment, because that negative, if Isak's coming in and what a lot of players do and they've got the ump and their attitude ain't great. So I think you might even get a situation where they say, well, if you're having treatment, you'll be coming in earlier before the other players are meeting, then I want you gone, and then you can come back in the afternoon and get your treatment and your, you know, one-to-one training, because you don't want that negativity in amongst the other players.
Okay, we'll see how things materialise. We'll have some more from Eddie Howe, I'm sure, to see if he says anything else about Alexander Isak. In the meantime, let's move on to Manchester United. They look like they're going to change their strikers. They're yet to bid for Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle have. That first bid, I think, has been rejected. But Manchester United do remain in the race. They have held club to club and talks with the player. There are reports the club are also prepared to sell their current striker, Rasmus Højlund, for around 30 million. Reading a report today that even though he cost 72 million, Højlund, that was the fee at the time, so far Manchester United have actually paid 43. So if they sold him for 30 at the moment, the actual losses on him wouldn't be too big. So we'll see exactly how that materialises. Anyway, the question is for Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig, if you're likely to come to the Premier League, where would you rather be playing right now? Manchester United or Newcastle United?
Right. You're a Man United fan, right? Mm-hmm. Where would you go if you was... It's very difficult, isn't it, when you're invested in a club and you're emotionally invested, to be balanced by it. Where would you go if you were Sesko?
Very strangely, I was thinking about this on the train on the way in.
Heart and head.
And I went, signing a 5-year deal, who's going to win more in the next 5 years? And I was like, there might still be an argument that if he goes to Man United for the next 5 years, he'll win more. Well, I mean, over the last 5 years, Man United have won more than Newcastle. So even though the club looks in a better place at the moment, you're maybe more likely to play Champions League football, I still think you might be more successful, win more medals, and probably earn more money if you go to Manchester United, even though it's a difficult place at the moment.
The one thing that I agree with you there is money, because there's every chance, everybody knows that Manchester United not only pay all the odds for players, that their wage bill will be far higher than what Newcastle's in, even though trying to get a few off. Purely on the football side of it, it's Newcastle. It's Newcastle 100%, because at the minute, they've got a better manager who's proven in the Premier League. Ruben Amorim isn't. They've got a manager who's more adaptable with his tactics, where Ruben Amorim is, I call him Ruben Bassett, where it's 3-4-2, whatever one, that's what I'm playing. And if you look at the teams at the moment for Manchester United, right, so they would set up, it's Banter in goal at the moment because Onana's injured, but hopefully if you get another goalkeeper.
I mean, either way, the goalkeeper situation's not great.
Right, so then your back three, De Ligt, Maguire, one of, Euro, Martinez. Out wide in the wing backs, Dalot or Diallo. Left side, Dorgu is going to be the main one. You've got Malaysia can play there. Luke Shaw will probably be injured after his first 3 or 4 pre-season training games. Then Ugarte, Mainu, Fernandes midfield, and Mbeumo, Cunha, and then obviously you're going Sesko up front. You go to Newcastle, Ramsdale I think is going to be their number one goalkeeper. Then you go Livramento, Cher, Botman, Hall, or Livramento on that side, with Trippier on the other side. Midfield of Guimaraes, Tonali, Joelinton. And in the wide areas especially, which is important obviously for Sesko's point of view, you have Murphy, Elanga, or Barnes and Gordon on the other side. So even if it's set forward, you're thinking, where am I going to get most service? Where am I going to get more goal scoring opportunities from? I think it's at Newcastle. And you support Man United, you're right. The jury's still massively out on Ruben Amorim.
Yeah.
He's got so many excuses and it's everybody else's fault, and he'd said the worst group of players that Man United have had for a while. Now, even if that's true, you know what players go, really? You're saying that in public about us? So he's absolved himself from, so these are not my players.
Yeah.
I only play 3-4-2-1, right? As players, if you've got anything about it, you should be able to adapt it. You shouldn't be playing at top level if you can't adapt it. There's only 2, which is 2 centre midfield.
We're going to carry on talking about Manchester United in a moment. I'm going to hear from Ruben Amorim what he's had to say actually about his team and how he's felt about them going into certain games last season. You'll hear that in a moment. Before we get there, let's do this.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
Is this Frankie Valli? No?
It is Frankie Valli. Can't take my eyes off you. That's from Tom, the Arsenal fan. Obviously, Roy Keane VARing his players.
Superb.
Can't take his eyes off them. What's the musical about Frankie Valli? And I went to see it. What's it called?
It's just called Frankie Valli in 4 seasons, isn't it?
No, I can't remember. Jersey Boys. Jersey Boys. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing.
When you watch it and you listen to it, you think, I didn't realise he wrote that.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love that song as well. Beautiful song. Keep them coming in. 8:10:89. We'll discuss Man United again straight after this.
rounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind.
This is the Sunday session. Hugh Woozencroft and former Arsenal wide man Perry Groves are with you. Sounds of the weekend. That one, of course, Johnny Nash, I can see clearly now from Samuel, the England fan, regarding that Roy Keane story. And before that, you heard Aretha Franklin, Respect. Rudy, the Leyton Orient fan, sending that in. Heung-min Son, of course, deserved in all the respect he gets after his 10 years at Tottenham Hotspur. Keep those coming in on 81089. In the meantime, let's check back in at the Oval with Sam Ellard. How are England getting on?
Very well. 244 for 3. They need just a further 128 runs to get to 374 and secure a series victory. It would be their second highest chase and a record at the Oval. Harry Brook has hit a 39 ball half century. Root reaches the same landmark of 81 balls. Of course, earlier on in the morning session, big moment. Brook was caught a fine leg by Siraj, but the Indian bowler stumbled onto the boundary ropes. Brook was on 19. England at the time 137 for 3. Fast forward an hour or so, the fourth wicket partnership worth 140 runs. Root has 58, Brook has 82. England going along very nicely. 246 for 3, needing a further 128 runs for victory.
And how is the Formula One going on in Hungary? Tom Clayton.
Lap number 39 of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we are past the halfway stage. Charles Leclerc still leading from Oscar Piastri. These two have kind of cleared off into the lead with this current strategy that they're on. Piastri within 2 seconds of that. There were a couple of hairy moments for Lando Norris, who almost went off the track, but he seems to have recovered. He's down in 4th place. But this one bubbling along nicely. There's still a few strategy calls to be made, like will the two leaders pit stop again? The McLaren team look like they're getting ready to jump out into the pit lane, so we'll see if Piastri comes in for a second time in this Grand Prix. Interestingly, Ferrari haven't won a Grand Prix since October of 2024, and that was back in the Mexican Grand Prix with Carlos Sainz at the wheel. Charles Leclerc hasn't won since the US Grand Prix of the same year. Now, will that change today? Lap number 40 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's Leclerc from Piastri.
Okay, all right, let's hear from Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim next. We were discussing United a few moments ago. They're playing Everton tonight in the Summer Series. Ahead of the game, Ruben Amorim has been discussing how he felt last season taking his team into certain matches. Very interesting. Have a listen.
To tell you the truth, is not how I return to my house after the games. How I left to go to the games, because I felt that sometimes we will struggle. All the struggles that we had in the games, I feel it before the game. So that is the hardest part, is to go to the game and know that we are not going to be competitive how we should be. That is the hardest part.
Well, Perry Groves, you've got a look of shock on your face.
That again is absolving self-responsibility and basically saying, this isn't my group of players. They can't buy into the way that I wanted. As a manager, it's up to you for that there's short term and long term. And we all know about the system we want to play, right? If you go into a squad of players and you see the players and you think, actually, the system that I want to play don't really suit it, then for that short term period, you play a system that suits that group of players until you get those players out, the players you want in, you have a full pre-season. So basically him again, just making excuses saying, no, it's not really my fault. And going into games thinking we're not going to be as competitive as what I hope we would be, because the players can't play the way I want them to play. We'll change your system and saying you'll change your style.
That's it. It's literally saying, I knew we'd be bad and I didn't do anything about it. Yeah. That's basically what you're saying, because every week you played a similar system and similar players. So having one week felt that way going to games, that Man United weren't going to be competitive, then doing the same thing the next week, well, you can't make more, you can't be sad about that. That's your choice. It's a really weird thing to say publicly once again. And I like Ruben Amorim. I hope he's a big success, obviously. But when you're talking about the tactics from last season, that's probably the main reason United were so uncompetitive in so many games. Now, you can say it's going to take time, like you said, Perry, and they need to get better players and all of that stuff. But ultimately, with the group of players he had at the time, he was not setting them up in a way to get the best out of them.
That's your job, is to get the best out of them. And players will look at the manager and think, you're not helping us here. They can tell that he wouldn't have been invested into and believe you. You've got to actually be a brilliant liar sometimes as a manager. No, you have, because when Arteta first went in at Arsenal, there'd have been 10 to 12 players, maybe even more, that he knew that weren't going to be there for the long term. Yeah. But he had to. He won the FA Cup. I know people say it's good, but you win the FA Cup in the first season year. You use Aubameyang because obviously he's scoring loads of goals. As soon as Aubameyang stopped scoring goals and he's turned up in a brand new Lamborghini, different colour every week, whatever, then he was then able to go, no, I'm not accepting anymore. But he used him for that period of time. Yeah. And you gradually get these players out. And playing in the system, when you played against Spurs in the Europa League, playing Fernandes as a centre of midfield player, when he has no inclination to do defensive stuff and, you know, do the tracking back and the energy, whatever, and playing your best player out of his best position at elite level is ridiculous.
I want to know what Manchester United fans think about it. We're going to continue talking about them next, Perry. Alejandro Garnacho is going to come up too, so if you've got a view on what he's been doing,
run up.
03717 223344. Man United legend, by the way, Rio Ferdinand, will be with Jeff and Andy Townsend in the studio on Monday morning on breakfast. He's been out with the squad, spent some time with them, so hopefully we'll get some insight into the mood in the camp ahead of the new season. Next up, it's this.
Looking through the window to your heart. Oh, baby.
That is an inspired choice from Jeff Schumann regarding
looking through your window.
Looking through the windows by the Jackson 5. So that's probably the best shout so far this hour for me. Keep them coming in, 81089, as I keep saying. And also remember the other story, Son Heung-min leaving Spurs after 10 years. We'll come back to Manchester United after this.
It seems
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City dry cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58, though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed, though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought?
Yes, you're listening to the Sunday Session with me, Hugh Woozencroft, and the former Arsenal winger, Perry Groves. I'm praying the skies stay clear above the Oval. Sam Ellard.
Oh, so do I. If it stays clear for another hour or so, England might win this match. 263, needing 114. Brooks got 90 from 80. Root's got 63. England have had 6 successful chases of 250 or more in the 4th innings. Since Ben Stokes took over as captain, we could be set for one of the best of the lot. England 260 for 3, needing a further 114 runs.
How's the hunt for victory at the Hungarian Grand Prix? Tom Clayton.
Yeah, lap number 47 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lando Norris leads, but Leclerc and Piastri in 2nd and 3rd have made one more pit stop than him. It looks like it's going to go down to the wire between these two. It's Ferrari v McLaren. Historically, the 2 most successful constructors at this circuit. The gap at the moment is about 4.5 seconds with about 23 laps to go. Leclerc leads Piastri from 2nd from 3rd. Lando Norris has the overall lead of this Grand Prix, though.
Earlier in League One, Stockport beat Bolton 2-0, while at 4:30 Celtic will be taking on St Mirren, watched by Paul Mitchell.
A match they won has been kind to Celtic in recent times. They've won 16 of the last 17 opening day league fixtures, losing at Hearts only in 2021. 3 points today. We'd already placed them ahead of Rangers, who could only draw at Motherwell yesterday. St Mirren have been a top 6 side in each of the last 3 seasons. They feel well placed to have another good go today.
And what's been happening at the UK Athletics Championship? Michael Waydock.
Over 20 champions on display here in Birmingham today. Places up for grabs in the World Championship team. We've just seen Paris 1500 metres silver medalist Josh Kerr blowing kisses down the home straight as he took the 5,000 metres title. In the 400 metre hurdles, wins for Lena Nielsen and Tyree Donovan. Morgan Lake's 190 is not a quad for her, but the world ranking will see her selected for Tokyo. Jasmine Sawyer's currently leading the long jump. Later on we'll have the 200 metres finals, including Zarnell Hughes and Dina Rasher-Smith.
You're listening to the Sunday Session on talkSPORT. 03717 223344 if you'd like to give us a call. You can text us as well on 81089. Just to let you know, there are 2 other matches going on in the Scottish Premiership. Falkirk have just equalised against Dundee United. 53 minutes on the clock, still goalless between Dundee and Hibernian, but only 7 minutes played in that one. Listen, let's talk about Manchester United again, Perry. We were talking about Ruben Amorim a second ago. He's got an issue on his hands trying to get some players out this summer. I think United really need to do that if they are going to buy Benjamin Sesko. Alejandro Garnacho is one of the exiled players at United at the moment, and he is liked journalist Fabrizio Romano's update on him and potentially Xavi Simons moving to Chelsea. Romano wrote on Instagram, Chelsea plan moves for both Garnacho and Xavi Simons, and the 21-year-old Argentine liked the post. What do we read into that?
His people liked the post, but his people would have had to run it past him. And you know that with Garnacho, he is severing all ties completely with you're a Man United fan, right? Yeah. When he broke onto the scene in 2022-23, you must have looked at it and thought, wow, we've got a talent here. Because he did, wouldn't he? I
still think he's a talented footballer, and for his age, he's actually produced fairly well, fairly good numbers for his age group. But Manchester United are not in the position to have characters like that in the change room anymore. They've had a long period of players who don't work hard enough, who want to put every responsibility for poor results onto other people but themselves in terms of the playing group. And it's time to move on for that. And they need more maturity. They need stronger characters. And he clearly isn't a very mature guy.
As you said there, he's 21, right? So even at 21, he's nowhere near the finished article. Nowhere near. You've seen him play, Hugh. When he was even at his pomp, when he broke in, sometimes his final decision-making wasn't great. His crossing weren't good. He got the Puskas goal he did for one against Everton. So then you're looking at it and going, wow, we've got a young player here. And there was a quote, I think Mike Phelan said that he's everything that Manchester United are all about, producing younger players coming through the academy, got Manchester United through their veins. Well, I'm sorry, those quotes don't stand tall now. They don't, because at 21, we're talking about the toxic culture at Manchester United with big-time Charlie players on a lot of money, sense of entitlement, don't put the work in. If fans and Man United fans did turn against Garnacho, a player who's 21, that means it's because he's not putting effort and he's not running around and he's got everything. So he is part of the problem. So at 21, he becomes part of that toxic, rancid culture, whereas you should be looking around thinking, I'm not going to behave like that. I'm going to make sure that my attitude is exemplary.
But it's because the club is in the position that it's in that it's allowed players like Garnacho to say, I should be doing more, I should be playing, all of that stuff, because United aren't doing well at the moment.
Right, so where's the senior players? Where's the senior players who control... Every top club has a brilliant manager, don't they, who's a dictator, but then they leave the control of the dressing room to the senior players. Yeah. So even players like Fernandes is his captain, Harry Maguire should be saying, boy, you wind your neck in. This is not how we conduct ourselves here at Manchester United.
Our issue is, I think, even with those established players at Manchester United, there has been for a while a culture of it's everyone's fault but the players. And that actually comes from the hierarchy in the club as well. By sacking manager after manager, experienced Champions League winning managers that they've had, managers that have been doing well, playing well, they've sent the message to the players that it's not them. And then, of course, they've read all the reports in the newspapers from the time that Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold were in charge. The recruitment's been so poor. Well, that's the reason we're not playing well at the moment, because the hierarchy at the club. Oh, and it's the Glazers, and now it's Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and there's another excuse. Oh, and we're making, there's redundancies being made at the, and there's always something going on at Manchester United that's giving the players an excuse for poor results, where they can say, oh, there's so much noise, there's so much stuff going on external to the pitch, we haven't been given the chance to perform at our best. And a lot of players, I'll include the likes of Marcus Rashford in this, have taken that and run with it. They haven't looked in the mirror and said, it's down to us. We are the reason that Manchester United have failed. You got Luke Shaw at the end of last season saying, some of the players have to take a look in the mirror. Maybe we aren't good enough for Manchester United. Has he only just realised that? How long's he been at that football club?
Yeah, but also,
he's the kind of player that should probably be in there and say, do you know what? I'm one of those that should probably not be here.
But what Luke Shaw, I've always said, is one of those players that when I've watched him play, even when he's fully fit, that just does enough, that doesn't actually put 100% in. And I think there's another, even when he's running, he's not explosive. Do you know what I mean? You think you're playing within yourself.
I mentioned Rashford, you mentioned Luke Shaw. We could go on and on. There were a number of players at Manchester United who have, and you could use the wider term of the size of the club has maybe swallowed them. They've not been able to fill the shirt. The weight of it has been too heavy. Ultimately, Manchester United should have overhauled that squad. For me, the main concern in terms of the transfer market is not who they're signing, but who hasn't left. I would have overhauled that squad completely. I wouldn't have been going for 60, 70, 80 million pound players. I would have gone for 20 to 30 million pound youngsters.
Hungry.
And I would have started all over again. And I would have put 50 million quid aside to pay off players to leave, to take smaller contracts elsewhere. United should have been more aggressive. Instead of just going train with the under-21s to 5 or 6 players, they should have said, here you go, here's your payout, off you go. So they haven't done that, and I still think they're in a position where they'll struggle to get near the top 8 in the Premier League. We've got to move on, Perry. But if you've got a view on Manchester United, do come back to us on 03717 223344, because I quickly want your views on another couple of moves that have been made in the transfer market recently. We'll start with Callum Wilson. He's a West Ham United player. A 1-year contract for the former Newcastle man. When Graham Potter, his boss, was asked whether Mikel Antonio was going to be part of the squad for the forthcoming campaign, he said no. So Mikel Antonio is clearly out. Callum Wilson is in. Will Wilson be a difference maker for West Ham United? Because he has struggled with injury in the past couple of seasons.
It'll probably be on a incentive-based contract, because they've only given him a year because of his past injury record. If Callum Wilson is 100% fit, he's an upgrade playing up front for West Ham if you get the fully fit one. Because at the moment they've got Phil Krug, who hasn't really sort of proven himself. Obviously Danny Ings has gone now. They were playing Jarrod Bowen as a false 9, which again I don't get, because you're playing your best player out of position where his best player is on the right hand side. So I think that if you're on a pay as you play, that is a good signing for West Ham. But Graham Potter is one of those managers I think is under massive pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
At West Ham.
He's also brought in the recruitment person that worked with him at Brighton, took with him to Chelsea. He's come from Chelsea to West Ham. I'm looking at the work they've done in the transfer window. I'm wondering why he was brought in at all. I think whoever was at West Ham before could have done the same deals. Tim Stein, I think it was. They've got to push the boundaries a little bit. I look at West Ham United and think maybe they're waiting. One of the teams waiting till late on in the window. They'll look at Arsenal as a London club and think, if they're going to loan a couple of players out, can we take a couple off them? Basuma's got a pre-existing relationship with Potter at Spurs. He looks like he's going to be surplus to requirements. Will they go and do an easy deal for him? They'll look at the number of players at Chelsea who might be going out on loan, some young players, and maybe think, if we wait, we won't have to spend big money and we could get a few decent players in who will help us. I think these clubs are just trying to stay up, and they'll look at the teams that have come out of the Championship and said, we don't really have to do that much to stay up, do we? And I think that's hurting the Premier League at the moment.
Well, also as well, it comes with the owners, what ambitions they have, as you said there. They just want to make sure, like, sort of a middle. But the thing is, if that's your aim and that's your goal, that you think we just want to stay up and go for middle tier Premier League, then there's every chance that you're going to be in a relegation battle. Because you need to have ambition. West Ham fans want their team to have ambition. They brought Kyle Walker-Peters in, which I think is actually a good signing, because he can play. Graham Potter wants to play the three centre halves with wing back. He can play right side. He can play left side. Obviously, Kudus has gone, which I think they got good money for him, like 55 million. Because again, I watched him play.
We're seeing a kind of EFL League One and League Two approach to the Premier League, though, which is we'll go into the free transfer market and we'll do all of our business there. It's like, in the Premier League, you probably have to do a little bit more than that to keep up with your rivals. We'll see what West Ham United can do. Anyway, let's quickly check back in on the cricket. England against India. Sam Millard.
Yeah, well, thankfully, nothing really to report since you last came to me, which means it's good news for England. No wickets, and they're continuing to pile on the runs. 272 for 3, needing a further 102 runs for victory. Brooke is 7 away from another Test match 100. Joe Root has 72 runs to his name. India just chasing their mistakes, really. There's not a lot of lateral or seam movement. They've tried spin of Washington Sundar, not getting a lot of turn, and at the moment, despite being overcast conditions, the two England batsmen of the crease are looking comfortable. Fourth wicket partnership worth 166 runs. England needing now just 102 runs to win this Test match and the series 3-1.
How's the F1 getting on? Tom Clayton.
Lap number 56 of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and since you came to me 10 laps ago, it has all been going on. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari has been reporting issues back to his team and has been berating his team for strategy, and he says that he could have driven around those issues. As it stands, he's been overtaken by Oscar Piastri, and Piastri has opened up a 7 or 8 second gap now to the Ferrari in third place. Leclerc says we'll be lucky to even finish on the podium. At the top of that podium, I'm not 100% sure who's going to be there, because Lando Norris is currently leading. He's had one fewer pit stop than Oscar Piastri. He has a 5-second lead, but as it stands, with 15 laps to go, Norris is looking pretty comfortable. I'm not sure he's going to need to pit stop again. It's a question of case. Is Oscar Piastri going to be catching up and overtaking his teammate? Last year, it was all so controversial. The papaya rules ruled between Norris and Piastri was handed the win. Will they return the favour to Norris this year? We'll find out in the next 15 laps. Lap 56, Norris leads at the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Next on the Sunday session. Keeping a close eye on his players during training. Exactly.
Get your sit-ups done, son.
Can't imagine Roy Keane actually playing this song at the training ground, but you never know. Steve in Wincham, thank you very much indeed for your suggestion. We'll talk about another couple of transfers being made in the Premier League, and we'll look at Tom Brady's comments on Wayne Rooney straight after this.
We've come a long way. Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Tell you all about it when I see you again. Every breath you take, every move you make.
This is what Roy Keane would play.
Yeah, it's true. He'd probably just whisper it to you if you passed him in the hallway. I'm watching you. Dave, thank you very much indeed. Roy Keane keeping a close eye on his players. And before that, I got a bit emotional. Charlie Puth, when I see you again, that's from Kit, the Newcastle United fan, around Heung-min Son leaving Spurs after 10 years. 81089 for your suggestions. Call us if you want to get involved in the conversation as well. 03717 223344. Let me very quickly, we've going to talk about Tom Brady in a second, and we'll hear from him. Let me just very quickly ask you about another couple of deals that have been done. I think actually just the one that I think really piqued my interest when I wanted to know your opinion on is Aaron Ramsdale, season-long loan move to Newcastle from Southampton, $4 million loan fee, option to make it permanent in a year's time. And the reason I wanted to ask you about it is James Trafford's move to Manchester City. He could be number one conceivably, depending on what happens with Ederson. But I think you'll get an opportunity, James Trafford, because he's been in good form. City looking to the future. Do those two put pressure on Jordan Pickford possibly for a number one spot at the World Cup with England?
I think Ramsdale more than Trafford.
Trafford, yeah.
Because I think with Ederson, he might have one more season, and obviously he's gone there as a backup, but they know he can play out on his feet. With Aaron Ramsdale is now become David Raya, because he was put under pressure, wasn't he? Everybody knew that David Raya was coming on at Arsenal because the Brentford goalkeeping coach was then at Arsenal, and he was a crowd favourite, Ramsdale. But he did the same thing to Bernd Leno when he came. So this is like just the food chain. Now he goes in, obviously Nick Pope is the number, but Aaron Ramsdale is an upgrade on Nick Pope, because Nick Pope can make outstanding saves, and he's 6'6", so he has a presence, but I think his feet movement is too slow, and he's nowhere near as good at with the ball at his feet than what Aaron Ramsdale is. And if you look at all the stats, even if your eyes tell you it, you look at all the stats tell you about Aaron Ramsdale's, passing and how many touchdowns with his feet and like his pass completion, whatever. And I didn't realise, I asked you, didn't I, earlier before we come on air, how tall, I know Max plays how tall are they, doesn't he? I'm not trying to nick his game, but Nick Pope, you said 6'6". Ramsdale, you said 6'1", and he's 6'3".
Yeah.
So he's bigger than what I thought he was. I think he's probably a bit better communicator. When you watch the games, you can tell that he's like a big, ebullient character.
Cool, yeah.
But his character off the pitch is exemplary, and that's what Eddie Howe's gone for. He knows about the standard of the goalkeeper. So I'll be amazed. They might start off with Nick Pope in goal like Arteta did with Ramsdale, and normally managers wait for a goalkeeper to make a mistake before they make the change. Arteta didn't do that, actually, because I can remember, I think Ramsdale was playing okay first 3 or 4 games, and then he put David Raya in, and everybody's like, well, and it put Raya under more pressure, and he was nervous to start off with.
So, just very quickly, in a word, Pickford will still be number one next summer?
Pickford will be number one if his performances and his levels are at the levels that he's been at.
Okay.
Because I think if Ramsdale, if he's at Newcastle now, and if he becomes their number one, I think he'll be putting him under pressure.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
Okay, all right, let's get to Tom Brady then. Superstar NFL player, of course, who is now Birmingham City minority owner. Our very own Troy Deeney's been speaking to him exclusively around the launch of Built in Birmingham, Brady and the Blues. It's a new documentary series available on Prime Video. After winning League One last season, Brady says he wants to continue being successful.
Well, I want these players to know that they have all the support they need for them to go out there and accomplish their goals. Certainly, the only people that really can get things done are the people that are within that locker room. And the staff and those players, they're the ones that are going to decide the fate of this season. It's our job and opportunity to help solve problems for them and to put them in a great position to succeed. So it's not going to be anything I say here in late July that matters. It's going to be about what they do when they show up to training, how they recover, how they eat, the individual choices they make, whether they win or lose. Do we learn from our mistakes? Do we show up the next day with a competitive attitude to be successful? Does the manager continue to think and study different tactics week in and week out? Because every week is something different. You're going against different teams that have different strengths and weaknesses. And then ultimately, can those players go out and execute under pressure?
Great to hear from Tom Brady there, of course, NFL legend. Troy Deeney, if you were watching the video on YouTube at the moment, I've never seen him take any bit of work so seriously. I mean, he looked like it was a school teacher or something.
Taking notes, wasn't he? Yeah.
Possibly starstruck, because we know he's a big NFL fan. He's just been out at the Baltimore Ravens training facility, Troy. So maybe he was a little bit starstruck.
I don't want to be pedantic, Tom, but it's a dressing room. Right? It's not a locker room. Just,
I don't know if you may have seen the clips online. They've released a few teaser clips as well. Tom Brady has been speaking about Wayne Rooney when he was the Birmingham City manager, and he spoke about his attitude. He told his colleagues in a clip on the show, "I'm a little worried about our head coach's work ethic." He also called some of the Blues players lazy and entitled. Before we talk about Rooney, is that a good thing for a football club, that sort of behind the fly-on-the-wall documentary stuff?
Well, the fans love it, don't they? Because, you know, you think you're seeing things, you know, that you're not sort of party to normally. And the thing like Tom Brady, that's fine. Like he's saying about the culture at the club and players were entitled. They went in, they made one of the most shocking decisions you could make, as getting rid of John Eustace when they were 6 and bringing in Wayne Rooney, who then went in as a vanity project and said, right, we're not going to play the way that again, a manager playing a signing system that suits the players that he has, and no disrespect for the Birmingham players, he looked at that group of players and went, do you know what, we're going to be tough to beat, we're going to be hard to break down, we haven't got the technical ability to play out from the back, these players can't do that. So he realised that. Tom Brady and the American owners come in and they decide, oh no, what we're going to do, all the work that you've done.
That famous quote, "No fear football," was what they wanted.
Yeah, but no fear football, you go, it doesn't work like that. You've got to have the right players to play no fear football, and those players weren't at that level. Wayne Rooney goes in, say, Birmingham get relegated because of Wayne Rooney, let's be honest. Then he says that the worrying thing about the quotes are, as a player, no one could ever question Wayne Rooney's attitude and his work ethic from being, he was at Everton from a young kid, getting the best out of himself. When he made Man United's all-time greats, one of England's all-time greats, you know, records and stats stack him up. For him to be accused of not putting everything in and not having the right work ethic, because you've seen the top managers shoot, right? They are so intense. It's a 24-hour job.
Speaking of a 24-hour job, this is a thing that I think's counted against Wayne Rooney. I was concerned when Jack Wilshere went to Norwich City as well, left Arsenal, a place that's obviously his home in Arsenal, under a manager in Mikel Arteta. He wasn't a first-team coach, but I think he should have stayed, worked his way up to be a first-team coach, maybe worked his way up to be assistant manager, stayed at Arsenal for the next 4 or 5 years. He went to Norwich because he wanted to accelerate himself getting into that number 1 spot. Ultimately didn't get the job at Norwich. Maybe he'll be a success elsewhere, but I felt staying at Arsenal was the right thing. For Wayne Rooney, do your time as a number 2, as a under-21s coach, as a first team coach at a club, learn from a big manager. Do you think David Moyes wouldn't have given you, do you know what I mean, all the time in the world to develop and learn what it's like? I think these guys, it's not a lack of work ethic. I think at times it's, do they actually know, you know, Tom Brady's worked with Bill Belichick for so many years. They had such great success. But you're talking about someone in Belichick who did all of his time in college football, did all of his time as a coordinator, built up to being the head coach, got that job, and was very experienced as a coach before he ever took that number 1 seat. And I'm not saying that Wayne Rooney's done as a manager, but I think some of that time as a number 2, as a first-team coach, is going to be valuable to him. If someone like Giovanni Van Bronckhorst can go back to being a first-team coach, having coached some very big clubs in European football and won stuff, then someone like Wayne Rooney, I'm sure, can, right? I just think at the moment, it's not that he's done in management, it's that he needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Yeah, but learn your trade, basically, what you're saying. But I think that Wayne Rooney is done in management. I think that the only time he's going to get a job is if someone buys a new club and they want a Hollywood star, big name to come in to hope. But you look at Wayne Rooney's managerial record, Derby, he did all right because of the off-field problems they had, you know, the financial problems they had. He did okay. Goes to Birmingham, stinks the place out, right? Because he wants to play. Plymouth, you think, right, have you learnt from Birmingham? He leaves Plymouth when they're 20th. And, you know, they got 2 points, I think, and out of 17 away games. Now, that tells you something about how a manager says to you. I saw their first game, not this season before, they lost 4-0 at Sheffield Wednesday, and Barry Bannon ran the show, you know, with his conductor everywhere. And I looked at that Plymouth side and I thought, you have no structure. There is no structure in that Plymouth side. There is no philosophy, and that comes from Wayne Rooney. Now, as a pundit, you can be different. As a pundit, he can see stuff and, you know, flag things up when he's on Match of the Day. But as a manager, you've got to look at the group of players, see what their strengths and weaknesses are. But also, I think sometimes the top players, they struggle with the fact that some of the players don't have their desire and their work ethic, and they can't do things that they used to do themselves. Yeah. They get frustrated that they have to keep telling players. So you have to know players' limitations. And good coaches, that's what they do.
I'd love to see someone like Wayne Rooney, Michael Carrick, who obviously lost his job at Middlesbrough at the end of last season, go in and work with England. This group of England players are absolutely brilliant. The manager is obviously top drawer in terms of his achievements and experience. You know, if you're not going to be in club football every week, I think he signed a deal to be on Match of the Day. Go and do some international football. Even do go and work with Lee Carsley at under-21s if you're truly desperate to still coach.
Ashley Cole is with Lee Carsley.
Exactly. Yeah,
What you do is you pick other managers' brains, and you see the way that they deal with different situations.
He should do. Anyway, let's quickly get back to the cricket, find out how England are getting on. Sam Ellard.
Harry Brook has another Test match 100. England 289 for 3, needing 81 more runs to win. It's Harry Brook's first fourth innings 100, his 10th in Test cricket in just his 30th game. His numbers are remarkable, but not many have been as important as this. When he came to the crease, England were 106 for 3. The target 374. It was a long way away. He and Joe Root put on 187 for the fourth wicket partnership as 100, coming off just 91 balls. He had a bit of luck, quite a bit of luck in fact, when he was on 19. He was caught on the boundary by Siraj, but he was caught and then Siraj stepped back and trod on the boundary rope. From then on, it's been Brook at his brutal best, using his feet, charging, pulling. He's been in complete control, well supported by Joe Root, who's got 83 runs to his name, and for India, the wheels have well and truly come off. England 293 for 3. They're 81 runs away from their second highest chase in Test cricket history.
Next up on Sounds of the Weekend.
I'm walking away from the troubles in my life. I'm walking away.
Is that Craig David?
Bit of Craig David.
Is it Craig David? He must have got so fed up with that.
And I think that's just an extra jive from Tony, the Leicester fan, as well, because he clearly Spurs are the problem in Son's life, if we're applying it to that story as well. But yes, Sonny is walking away after all. We're going to speak to Ian Danter next, looking back on the opening weekend of the EFL season. Stay with us.
When it's something else.
listening to the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Hugh Woozencroft and Arsenal title winner Perry Groves are with you. Tight finish coming up in the Formula One. We'll have the latest as the checkered flag gets waved in a few moments' time. Before then, let's talk to Ian Danter, talkSPORT commentator. On the first weekend of the EFL season, I was with you live on talkSPORT 2 on Friday night at Kenilworth Road. It was not a classic between Luton Town and AFC Wimbledon. Hopefully, Ian, you got some more entertainment at Cardiff City yesterday. How was it?
Oh, I sure did. It was a really good game and some terrific goals from Cardiff, who were behind at half-time, to a Peterborough side who've sold a lot of their talented players over the summer and haven't really reinvested in the squad as yet. But they were still ahead. Bradley Heung-min with a penalty. But Cardiff came roaring back, and a beautiful free kick from Ruben Colwill got them level. And then Ronan Capaccio, a right-back who's 18 years of age, one of a number of players from the academy, fired home his first senior goal in off the crossbar. Brilliant winner. And Capaccio's performance was typical, Hugh, of a number of these young players from the Cardiff Academy that Brian Barry Murphy has placed his trust in. He's not gone to the market yet. I asked him about it after the game, and it does feel almost a deliberate ploy from Brian Barry Murphy to look at the Cardiff Academy, having worked at the Manchester City Elite Development Squad system, and said, OK, you show me, you guys, that I don't need to go into the transfer market, that I've got the quality that I need. And that's pretty much what he showed yesterday, but it's a 46-game season, let's not forget.
Stay there for a second, because we've got the checkered flag in the Formula One, so let's very quickly go to talkSPORT's Tom Clayton.
Yeah, and it's a win for McLaren and a win for Lando Norris in Hungary. He's played his strategy perfectly, done one pit stop fewer than his teammate Oscar Piastri. He's taken the win. It's his 9th of his career. The winning margin, less than half a second. That's how close the McLarens were running in the final few laps. A brilliant day for McLaren, who win their 200th Grand Prix as a constructor in Formula One. Lando Norris, as I say, gets his 9th. It's the gap at the top of the standings is cut down from 16 points to just 9. Heading into the summer break, a brilliant end to a pretty good Grand Prix in Hungary. Lando Norris is the race winner.
And the crowd have been on their feet at the Oval, but there has been another wicket. Sam Ellard.
Possibly a glimmer of hope for India. England 301 for 4, 73 runs to win. They were on their feet, Hugh, because Harry Brooks' remarkable innings of 111 comes to an end. Akashdeep got the wicket, looking to come down the wicket, and I think smack him somewhere, maybe perhaps near London Bridge, the News UK building. His bat went out to the left-hand side, and the ball went high in the air to the offside. Mohammad Siraj did really well to keep his composure and take the catch. So when Harry Brook came to the crease, the score was at 106 for 3. He leads with the score 301 for 4. Jacob Bethel comes to the crease. Joe scored 83. England 301 for 4. They need 73 more runs to win this test match and the series 3-1.
Sam, thank you. Ian Danter, talkSPORT commentators with us, looking back at the opening weekend of the EFL season. Go ahead, Barry.
Dance, I heard you flirting, do you know what I mean? So I thought thought our marriage and our partnership was rock solid.
I'm entitled. Don't you start.
I think might go and see a marriage guidance counsellor. But I watched some of the Cardiff game, and you mentioned about young players. Obviously, Capaccio scoring a decent goal. I thought Bilikapic in the Peterborough goal maybe could have done a bit better with it. But the player that interests me, Ruben Colwill. Like, obviously, you had the Colwill brothers playing in midfield, and he's been in Cardiff's first team since he was about 18, as in 19. He's been in the Welsh squad. He was captain yesterday, and I thought that he showed a real sort of mature performance.
If any player is going to benefit from the passing style that Brian Barry Murphy has introduced at Cardiff, it's going to be a player like Ruben Colwill, who at times in the Championship, even in a team that was struggling like Cardiff, could really stand out and perform. And look, he's getting stronger. His upper body strength is improving all the time, Perry. A wonderfully taken free kick with the instep and catching Bilikapic out at his near post. You're probably right that the keeper could have done better, maybe for both goals, but still the quality of the strikes were excellent. But Colwill could be arguably one of the players of League One this season if he keeps the consistency up. Brian Barry Murphy told me there were a couple of days in training in pre-season where he wasn't quite flying the way he should be, but he's given him the captain's armband. He's given him that responsibility, And based on yesterday, Ruben Colwell's going to take that captain's armband and show exactly why he's been presented with it.
I wonder if they'll get an offer from a championship club before the end of this window for Ruben.
It might happen. Because, it could happen.
Yeah, that could still happen. We'll see. Listen, he's a lovely player. I've wanted to see him try. I think he could be a Premier League player.
You stirring the pot. Cardiff just won their first game 22 years in League One.
I really like Colwill, and I just wonder if he's got that drive to make himself into a top-tier player, because I think he has the talent. I've been waiting for a while for it to explode. Obviously, down in League One level, I think he will be head and shoulders. You'll see how good a player he is. But I think he could do the same thing, at least at Championship level, on a more consistent basis. He'll hope to do it with Cardiff City after promotion at the end of this season. Anyway, let's talk a little bit, slightly negative, unfortunately, as you know, dance with me. We've got to talk about Morecambe. We've got to talk about Sheffield Wednesday as well, because those are probably bigger concerns, really, than the football on the pitch at the moment. The Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, writing an open letter to the Morecambe owner, Jason Whittingham, urging him to sell the club. Earlier this week, the club suspended by the National League for the first few games for failing to comply with their rules. On Thursday, prospective buyers, Punjab Warriors, sent a joint statement with Morecambe's minority shareholders saying the club would shut on Monday without a takeover. Have there been any further developments, or is it almost impending doom?
From what I'm led to believe, that the club is now shut. It will not open its doors tomorrow morning because there's no cash flow in order to even perform menial tasks at the stadium. So the stadium will be locked and nothing's going to be happening there. You mentioned the Punjab Warriors, who have consistently said that they have an offer on the table, but Jason Whittingham, the majority owner of Morecambe, who, let's not forget, has got some previous in terms of running clubs to the wall when he was in charge of Worcester Warriors Rugby Club. And that went to the wall. What was that, 3 years ago now, 2022? Here we are in 2025, and he appears to be doing exactly the same job with Morecambe. And it begs the question how he was allowed to take charge of Morecambe in the first place, having done what he did with Worcester Warriors. But we are where we are. And maybe the Punjab Warriors can get us something over the line. But it just seems that Whittingham, much like Delphin Chansiri at Sheffield Wednesday, is just being bloody minded about the whole thing. Chansiri seems to want to drag everybody down with him, including Sheffield Wednesday. And I think that's what Jason Whittingham appears to be doing with Morecambe. It's absolutely unforgivable what he's doing. Unforgivable.
Gans, what happens here is these people don't realise that the football clubs in these towns and these cities is about history, heritage and culture, and just not just for the football club, but what happens in and around the football club from different businesses, you know, what thrive if the football club is existing. Do you think this points more to now like an independent regulator?
Well, we've got it now, haven't we? So are they going to show that and bare their teeth now that we do have an independent football regulator in this country and start getting stuck into these issues? Because these issues matter just as much as anything happening at a Premier League club or a Scottish Premiership club. These are, as you say, community outposts for people not just to go and support their club on match days, but take part in community-related events. Sheffield Wednesday's in a terrible state. You know, they've got very few first-team players left. A number of players have been able to walk at the end of their contracts because they're not being paid. Although Barry Bannon curiously signed an extension to his contract yesterday. We don't know for how long, but we know he signed an extension to stay at Sheffield Wednesday because he talked with his family and they want to stay at Hillsborough. So that's one little chink of light for Sheffield Wednesday fans. But the North Stand has been shut. My club's been there in the past few years that safety concerns haven't been addressed. They've had 4 years to sort out safety issues in the North Stand. They've not done it. And now Chansiri is paying the price by having that stand shut. Whether they can fulfil their fixture against Leicester City next Saturday is open to question. And how on earth have we allowed ourselves to get in this position, this sort of drip, drip, drip of poor mismanagement from Delphin Chansiri, that we've got to this point where Sheffield Wednesday fans should not be hearing this constant tirade of bad news. It should be far more positive.
Yeah, it should be. Ian Danter, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate your views on the Sunday session. Remember, the Championship gets underway next weekend, exclusively live on talkSPORT. The opening game Friday night, Birmingham City, St Andrews under the lights as they welcome Ipswich Town. A very big game to start the season off. We'll have Southampton Wrexham on talkSPORT Saturday lunchtime as well. Host of other commentaries across the weekend on talkSPORT 2 as well. I'm sure you'll hear more about those as we approach the weekend. But Ian, thank you very much indeed. Let's get the team news ahead of Celtic's game with St Mirren in the Scottish Premiership from talkSPORT's Paul Mitchell.
Thanks, Hugh. This was the closing fixture in the SPFL last season. 13 of the 22 players who lined up then line up today. Familiar-looking Celtic side, Kasper Schmeichel in goal. The back four of Johnston, Cardiff, Scales and the returning Kieran Tierney. There's a debut for Benjamin Nygren, one of the big signings in the summer, alongside Callum McGregor and Rio Hatate, and the front three of Yang, Ida and Maida. For St Mirren, Shamal George was brought in to be the #1 goalkeeper. He starts today. It'll be a back three of Fraser, Gogic and King. Richardson and John, the wide players. Phillips, Taylor and O'Hara. Roland Adowie and Michael Mandron are the two players charged with getting the goals up front for St Mirren, who've won just one of the last 38 visits to Celtic Park. It's a tough old place to go. Don Robertson is in charge of this one.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Right, next on the Sunday session. These are the ones we love. These are the ones we love. Supersonic by Oasis. Genius. Jacob, Spurs fan as well. Fantastic.
That's way above my pay grade. I was going, Supersonic? What's all that? Is that Roy Keane? That's what Supersonic is. Oh, I get you. Very good.
From a Spurs fan as well. Jacob, thank you very much indeed. Up next, we're going to take a look at some stranger stories. Stay with us.
Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Of the rising sun. When it takes it all, the loser standing small.
This is the Sunday session on talkSPORT. Hugh, Woozencroft and Perry Groves are with you. ABBA, great song, obviously. Winner takes it all. David, the Cardiff fan, sends that one in to us for the Roy Keane story. I guess he's the winner, and he takes everything, including videos of his players when they're training.
But also, the winner takes it all is about the two band members splitting up, isn't it, and divorcing. So that's what it's about. It's like this song as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And of course, before that, you heard the Animals at House of the Rising Sun. Exactly. Kerry in Swansea, thank you so much for that one as well. 81089 on the text. That's some brilliant suggestions for sounds of the weekend so far, so keep those coming in. We'll get to Stranger Things in a second, but first, back to the Oval. Sam Ellard.
England edging closer and closer to victory, 307 for 4. India have a little bit of hope. They dismissed Harry Brook after he made a quite incredible 111. Akashdeep with the wicket there. There's also now an LBW appeal on Joe Root. It's Mohammad Siraj who's got a ball to come back into Joe Root. Was given not out on field. India, I think, more out of desperation than belief, have reviewed it. Having a look at a replay here, it's clearly hitting Joe Root. The impact way outside the off stump. So Joe Root will resume on 88. Jacob Bethel has one to his name. There was a nervy moment a short while ago from Bethel when he tried to pull a short ball from Akashdeep. It just looped in the air off the top edge, and Akashdeep tried to run and catch it but slipped over and lost his footing. So India, despite spending lots of time in the field chasing around Root and Brook for the fourth wicket partnership, have a little bit of hope with that Brook wicket. England 307 for 4, needing a further 67 runs to win.
Stranger Things on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Yes, it's time for Stranger Things.
You don't need to do the voice here.
I interviewed David Harbour, the actor from Stranger Things, when I was out in Saudi Arabia, who plays the chief of police, the dad, if you like, of if you're a fan of Stranger Things.
You know.
And I love Stranger Things, right? I was just so starstruck. He's such a nice guy.
You get your worms out properly.
Never been to a football match. So I think Roman Kemp, who was there with us, is going to try and take him to Arsenal.
Trying to Goonerise him.
He is. Right, our first Stranger Things story is a bit of a howler. Leon FC have just signed Matt Turner for £7 million. But get a load of this. They don't actually want him. They begged Nottingham Forest to cancel the deal, but no, contract signed, keeper delivered. Turner's off on loan to New England now, probably wondering what's just happened. Meanwhile, John Textor and his tangled web of club ownership got Palace booted from Europe. UEFA said, too many clubs, buddy. Now they're dragging everyone, UEFA, Lyon, even Forest, to a sports court next week. CAS will rule on August the 11th, with Forest and Palace fighting over a European seat like it's musical chairs. And to top it all off, Palace and Forest clash in the league right between the playoff legs. You really can't write it.
Steve Parish. They knew, the Palace hierarchy knew you had to get it done before March the 1st, I think, wasn't it? You had Marinakis, he put his shares in the trust, didn't he, because of Forest and Olympiacos. So they played Millwall on March the 1st in the 5th round, so they were 3 games away from winning the FA Cup. So you've got to take a bit of responsibility. Morally, Palace should be in Europa.
I think they will. I think they'll be in the Europa League.
I really do.
John Textor's now sold his share in the club, so.
And they've got to prove, obviously, he had no say, which we know he had no say, but his shares said that he did, so they should have done it a lot earlier. Now we turn to the EFL, as Peter United have unveiled a brand new club crest, and the internet is ready roasting it. The new badge ditches the old winged lions for one lion holding keys. I don't know what. I don't know either.
You got to see it.
Okay, I have. It's meant to honour St Peter, but looks more like a lion ready for first aid duty. Club owner Darragh McAntony says it's all about modern branding and attracting new fans. He admitted he was sceptical at first, but now says the redesign blew him away. The club says it's digital first and merchandise friendly. However, one fan said it looks like a lion with a lollipop, while another one said it's basically Chelsea with amnesia. People confused how instantly recognisable when the club name isn't even on it. Others are asking why they need to modernise when no one asked for it. I think they did. There was a fans forum or whatever, wasn't there? Yeah. Meanwhile, Peterborough kicked off the season with a devastating 2-1 loss to Cardiff City. Obviously, Dance was there. Looks like the badge isn't the only thing that needs resigning. There's one man and one man only who will have to say whether it's good or bad, is Adrian Durham. It is. If he gives it the thumbs up, then it's okay. If he gives it the thumb down, then no go.
It does look like the logo for like a key company, the people that make keys or locks or like double glazed windows. It's not great.
Yeah,
it's not
as
great.
said, there's no reference to it being anything to do with football.
Let's turn to Manchester United. They've proudly had a homegrown player in every squad since 1937. 4,321 games straight. That's almost as old as my grandma's favourite casserole recipe, and way more impressive. This season, though, that streak might finally come crashing down thanks to Ruben Amorim's big decisions. Rashford's left for Barcelona, Johnny Evans retired, young talent seems to be packing their bags as well. Only Kobbie Mainoo stands guard. He missed 17 games last year, so fingers crossed for that one. If Mainoo gets injured, the only hope might be 39 goalkeeper Tom Heaton. Toby Collier might be going out on loan as well, but Amorim probably more focused on wins than keeping that dusty old record alive. Last season, United set records for all the wrong reasons: worst points, most home losses, and a relegation scare as well. They lost 9 games at Old Trafford. That's like inviting the opposition for tea and then letting them win as well. This season, it's a race. Can the youngsters step up? Will that 88-year streak finally meet its match?
So Garnacho's not going anywhere then.
So, he will be. I'm sure of that.
You'll bet your life that they will put somebody from the academy on the bench for Anish, because it's an unbelievable. To be fair, it's an unbelievable record. Exactly. Our final Stranger Things sees Florent Cinema Pongoli, Liverpool's forgotten hero from 2005, taking up a new sport, sticking to his roots, foot golf. The 40-year-old showed off his skills on Instagram, playing near Cannes in sunny France. Turns out he's part of a foot golf club too. Who knew? One video showed him nailing a tricky shot that rolled perfectly into the hole. He even celebrated with a fist pump like he just scored at Anfield again. Back in the day, he wasn't a regular starter but made 65 appearances for Liverpool. His big moment came in 2005 Champions League, scoring a key equaliser. Sadly, a knee injury ended his season early and he missed the famous final. After bouncing around clubs in Europe and US, he finally retired in 2019. Now he's swapping goals for golf balls, foot golf balls, and still scoring. Just with his feet. How would you fancy your job? Have you played foot golf?
I would love to. I've got like a long kick, a bit like a goalkeeper's kick, so I can boot it far.
What about your touch around the greens?
I'd be good around the tee, but around the greens, not great.
Chipping him.
I saw the video of him, and it was like a 40-50 yard putt. I mean, it was a beautiful across the green. He measured it,
undulating.
Oh, and it just, like the famous Masters putt from Tiger Woods, where it just came back and circled into. It was exactly like that. Unbelievable.
Do you know, I've played foot golf on a golf course. It's the disparaging and the discerning looks you get from the proper golfers.
Yeah.
Because at first they used to put the holes at the side of the main green and play on the proper golf course. You're like, shouldn't be playing on there, chaps.
But he is on a proper golf course.
But people play it seriously. They put their boots on. They go.
Mate, he's full kit.
Yeah,
he's full kit. I've seen the video and he's very good.
I think having a physio with him is going a bit stronger.
We occasionally see him as well, Florence, and him up on goal when we go to Anfield. He's a regular there at working in media, so I'll ask him about it next time I see him. All right, up next on the Sunday session. The calling, wherever you will go. Declan, a Spurs fan as well. I'm feeling like these songs from the Spurs fans are a bit too personal. I feel like there have been some tears shed to these songs today. Yeah, they're hurting.
This is cathartic. This is like having therapy.
Absolutely. Spurs fans, Sonny's on his way, but there's a bright future under Thomas Frank. Thank you very much for those suggestions. 8-89, keep them coming in. And up next, we'll be looking back on the Lions series, Down Under. Stay with us.
After football, for a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the
listening to the Sunday session. I'm Hugh Woozencroft alongside the former Arsenal title winner Perry Groves. It's tea at the cricket on the final day of the final test with Sam Allard.
An extraordinary session where the score moved along from 164 for 3 to 317 for 4. What a session for England. What a fourth wicket partnership. Harry Brook got to 111. He fell just before tea, but Joe Root's still there unbeaten on 98. If England can chase down 374, it's their second highest chase in Test cricket history. It's tea, England 4 down and needing just 57 runs to win.
Earlier at the Hungarian Grand Prix, McLaren's Lando Norris took the victory while Stockport beat Bolton 2-0 in League One. At 4:30, Celtic opened their campaign against St Mirren in the Scottish Premiership. Watched by Paul Mitchell.
And Paul McStay will unfurl the championship flag. Celtic winning 55 titles now. They won last season fairly easily. They'll be looking for more of a chase from Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs. All confident they can try and track down Celtic this season. For today, St Mirren get their chance. One win in the last 38 at Celtic Park suggests tough sledding ahead.
You're listening to the Sunday session here on talkSPORT. Give us a call if you want to get involved. 03717 223344. You can text us on 81089. Keep your sounds of the weekend coming. They've been fantastic. Heung-min Son leaving Tottenham Hotspur after 10 years. Roy Keane videoing his players and then playing it back to them VAR-like when they've made mistakes on the training ground or not putting in the right kind of effort. So keep your suggestions coming in for those two. We are going to talk, of course, about the thrilling British and Irish Lions series next. We brought it live and exclusive to you here on talkSPORT. The final match saw the Wallabies shock the British and Irish Lions, winning a riotous victory in the third and final test at Stadium Australia. Foul night, torrential rain, threats of lightning strikes. The players went off. Play was suspended for 40 minutes, but the hosts and, of course, the underdogs dominant for much of the evening, outscoring the Lions by 3 tries to 2. And I think you've got to say it was coming. But let's speak to a man who knows rugby a lot better than me. Jim Hamilton, former Scotland lock, former Saracens lock, joins us now. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Don't play yourself down, Hugh. You know about rugby as well, mate.
Do you know what it is?
I don't know if you, mate.
Do you know what it is? I've been waiting to talk about the Lions because I've been away in Saudi Arabia, haven't been on air. I'm not disappointed with the Lions because they won the series, and that's all you can ask for, right? A collection of the best players we've got going all the way down under. They won the series. That was a job, and job has been completed. My reflections on it are preparation. How good was it? And actually, how good did this Lions team play? Because if we'd went to New Zealand with the same preparation and put out the same 3 performances, I think we lose 3-0. I think if we go to South Africa and put out the same level of performance in the 3 test matches, I think we lose 3-0. I don't think this Lions team played at the level that it could have with the incredible talent it has. I think they held Australia at arm's length because they are just much better players than are in the Wallabies side. But New Zealand and South Africa, totally different entities. My hope is basically we don't take anything for granted from this tour. We'll have to be better in 4 years' time. Do you agree?
What are we like as British and Irish? Let's celebrate it for a bit. You know, let's have a day of celebration. But I get what you're saying. Look, let's start with a couple of positives, Hugh Perry, if I may. Everyone's talking about it from a rugby point of view. I think we've brought in casual fans, whether or not you've watched it or hopefully you've listened to it on this show as well. And there's been drama, there's been jeopardy, and it's been great. And I think I don't want to keep talking about growing the game and all of these things and the direction that our sport's going in. If you were to look at parts of our game, Men's World Cup specifically, Men's Six Nations, the Lions Tour, the fans, sold out stadiums, and I mentioned like the drama and the talking points, it's been brilliant. To your point around would this Lions team have beaten a New Zealand or a South Africa with the way they played? Well, we don't know for one, but I think we can kind of agree that probably not with how they played, but you can only play what's in front of you, like. And also it's been a tough build-up. It's been off the back of a really tough season for a lot of the players as well. There's midweek games or the travel of touring, this kind of old school feel in this modern game. So there's all these things that go into the mix, but also as well, and look, you know, I tweeted or X'd or whatever you want to call it now, 18 months ago, probably 12 months ago when Australia were in the Rugby Championship and they played in the Rugby Championship this time last year. Mate, they're a good team. Like they're in their club competition, they're playing a lot better, but also in the championship, mate, they're physical. They've got some brilliant players. And the issue that we've had or Australia have had specifically in that first game, their best players weren't fit. They were undercooked. So you never saw that best version of them. So the Lions never really got tested. They won that first test comfortably. And then the second test, argument is that, you know, they could have, should have lost that test, the Lions. And then you go into this third test and you see a better version of the Lions, right? You see I don't want to be harsh on it, but you brought the tone down to start with you. Mate, they've been out on the smash for 2 days. You know what I mean? They've been out in the preparation. They've won the series. So it was hard to see in that third test how they were going to win that. Sorry, Brady.
Yeah, go on. You said that at elite level. I was surprised that Andy Farrell didn't make more changes because what you mentioned there as well, it wasn't that there was a lack of effort, but you know what it's like. There's that edge. There's just that little bit of edge that just comes down where you don't push yourself subconscious much of what you should. So I was surprised, number one, you didn't make more changes. But number two, I'm watching it, and my boy actually was at the game. He lives in Sydney, and he just said that the atmosphere in the stadium was electric. There was a real good vibe there. Nick White, obviously the Australian scrum half, right? He was annoying me. And I wasn't even on the pitch and playing. In fact, I'm thousands of miles away. So he did his job to the nth degree because actually, technically, he was excellent. Like he managed the game really well. So, but getting under our players' skins, I thought he did his job, and I wondered why he didn't play in the previous games.
Yeah, so there's a few things to kind of unpick with that. So firstly, like Andy Farrell's selections have been questioned and him bringing up Owen Farrell into the squad, his own son and stuff like that. But Andy Farrell is one of the best coaches in the world and he's his own man and he will pick who he wants to pick. But I'm the same as you. Like I would have gone for test 3 for... I don't want to say these players would have been hungrier, but guys like Henry Pollock, who've been brilliant on tour, you Josh van der Fleer, who probably deserved the test slot that hasn't been given one, maybe an Owen Farrell at 10 as well, because of the reasons that you've said. Like this game it's a tough game to play. It's an extremely physical. It's brutal sport at times, and you have to be 100%. And they were 100%, so I don't want to devalue what they were doing, but they've got to be desperate to win test matches. And I spoke about last week in Test 2, desperate men are dangerous men, and you saw Australia were desperate, and they would have won that second test. I knew Australia were going to win this third test when I saw Will Skelton was playing, Tupou was playing, and you mentioned Nick White there, fantastic player. That was his last game for Australia. So you saw a desperate man at scrum half who would do anything to win for his team in Sydney. And I thought Australia were brilliant throughout the tour, to be honest with you. As good as they could be, they were just a bit undercooked in that first test.
I thought their handling in those atrocious, obviously, biblical conditions, I thought their handling was better than ours. And their offloading
100%.
was better than ours in that sort of first 35 minutes. I thought they were outstanding.
Yeah, and you can't get away from that. Sorry, Hugh, you can't get away from the fact that, I know Australia, they're building the World Cups there in 2 years' time, all of these things. I thought in Test 2 they were brilliant, and in Test 3 they were brilliant, and they showed what it meant to put on that jersey. So fair play to them.
Yeah. To be fair play to Australia. I love the tour generally. I feel like, as a rugby fan, you're in a big minority, generally speaking, but I feel like when the Lions comes around, it's like pride for rugby fans. It's like we can all celebrate the fact that we just love rugby. Yeah, we've got some games to watch, and it was amazing to be in Dublin to see it all kick off, even though the Lions lost against Argentina, to see how the fans have been across Australia, warm-up matches, test matches, you're proud to be a rugby fan, seeing our fans go across the world and act how they've acted, enjoy rugby. But I've been listening to shows and seeing where they've been, and it's just like, just so much respect and love to all the fans that went out there. So I did enjoy the rugby tour despite my complaints at the start.
As well, though, even for the product of the Lions, don't you think that us winning 2-1 is far better than the 3-0 because then, the standards about Australia.
Even the manner of the 2-1, the second test, highly competitive. The third test, obviously Australia. It's not like the Lions battered Australia in 2 matches and then there was this kind of, we'll give them one at the end. It was highly competitive. Even the second half in that first test from Australia, they played really, really well. It was a great series. Delighted the Lions won. Commiserations to our Australian friends. Jim, I did want to ask you about one thing, and that is maybe from a broadcast perspective. You were on X talking about the television cameras inside the dressing room during that delay because of the weather. You said small things like this are why the game never went to the next level 10 years ago. Tell us what you meant.
Yeah, so I've just seen that my phone's blown up because I'm in the US, so I'm 7 years behind. So just for some context, I just put a tweet out yesterday, or an X, I don't know what you call it these days, but David Nusafora, who's involved in the management team, when the players went in for the storm, there's cameras everywhere now, isn't there? Because it's sports, media and entertainment, they're all aligned. And he's put like a towel over a camera within the changing rooms. So I put the tweet out of that happening on video. I'll be the first to say, I never agreed with cameras in the changing room as players, but with broadcast rights and all of these things that, as players and as coaches and as management, you don't get the choice to say where cameras are in these things. And I just think with access to our game, and again, we're going a bit negative on here, so apology, but you've asked the question, Hugh, about growing our game and bringing in new fans and new audiences and what goes on behind the scenes and the flop of the Netflix documentary. We've been in this catch-up phase with rugby for a long time, and I've been talking about it for 9 or 10 years, this mass collaboration of growing the sport. And it's these little things that just kind of niggle me a little bit and kind of blow my mind, that you have still these older generation, these old-fashioned views in the game, these traditions, which we don't want to lose. But, you saw the Wayne Rooney stuff, and the Tom Brady stuff come out about the Birmingham City show. And just that clip alone, you're like, I'm going to go and watch it. And I'm not saying by a towel being put over a camera in the changing room does that. But my point is around where our game needs to go. We're on this kind of trajectory of trying to bring in casual fans. And Perry, the fact that you're talking about it as well, I didn't want to say at the start, I was like, how much do you know about rugby? But it's great because I think what this tour has done, there's been so much chaos and there's been so much physicality and there's, been cuts and drama and all of these things that are starting to bring in the casual fans. So I'm not saying that would have, but I just wanted to make a point and highlight that.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
No, it's because what Jim's saying there is rugby has to do that because it has to get more fans in. Yeah. So they have to find another way to get more people interested. I'm into rugby because my 2 boys were very good rugby players when they were from 11. So I got into rugby. I didn't know anything about it, and I was told to shut up when I was shouting on the touchline because there'd be a 10-yard penalty otherwise. So you have to calm yourself down a little bit. But you're 100% right, dude. They have to find different ways to engage what I call the floating fan. and keep them engaged for longer.
I hope it's a springboard for rugby union here and also in Australia as well, because they're in need of a bit of a boost at the moment. Like I say, all of the matches, the crowds, the atmosphere was exactly the right tone, exactly what we wanted. And hopefully, as Jim says, it does drag people in. If you listen here on talkSPORT, thank you very much as well, because it was a delight for all of us here to bring you that exclusive Lions tour, and hopefully we'll do so again in 4 years' time. Jim Hamilton, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to be with us. I know you're with your family and stuff, so really appreciate you joining us on a Sunday as well. Right, up next, it's time for this.
This must have got a play last night. Bit of Rufus and Shaka.
Unbelievable. It probably did, I gotta say. I can't remember most of it, but yeah.
You were sober.
I was, but I'll tell you, a Spoonie set was just like...
too into it. Exactly.
Oh my God.
You lost yourself.
It was hit after hit after hit after hit. And after a while, you just, tie around the head and all that, dad dancing, you just lose track of what's on. What can I say? Right, that's Shaka Khan, Ain't Nobody. Thank you very much, Grayson, a Southampton fan. That's the Heung-min song, right? So,
Ain't nobody does it better.
Exactly. Keep them coming in, 8-10-89. We're going to discuss Russell Martin's comments after Rangers' draw with Motherwell next. Rangers fans, has he gone a bit too soon? Too strong, too soon, right? 03717 223344.
Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay.
Two exceptional choices on Sounds of the Weekend. Bing Crosby, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. That's exactly what you want them to be around Roy Keane. And that's from Roy, the Liverpool fan, by the way. And then Sam Smith, Too Good at Goodbyes, from Solomon, a Crystal Palace fan. But Too Good at Goodbyes, also, just reminding people there was a goodbye to Harry Kane not too long ago. They're getting used to this at Spurs, aren't they? Losing their legendary
all right,
players.
You don't like going 2-footy tackles.
I'm just saying, it's a really good shout.
We've got a new manager, we've got Kudos going there, just trying to be a little bit on the up. They've won their first trophy for a long time, do you know what I mean?
No, I'm positive about Spurs. Top seven, they can make it. They can make it. Anyway, we're not going to talk about them just yet. But we are going to talk about Rangers' opening draw in a few moments' time. A reminder, Celtic just taking to the pitch. They're facing St Mirren in their opening match, looking to, of course, start the season by taking all 3 points. Let's remind ourselves of who they've lined up with Paul Mitchell.
Celtic go with a familiar lineup. Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Will be a back four of Johnson, Carter Vickers, Scales, and a return for Kieran Tierney, away 5 seasons at Arsenal, now back in the hoops of Celtic. Benjamin Nygren makes his debut for Celtic alongside the experienced Callum McGregor and Ray Huitati, the front three of Yang, Ida and Maeda. While St Mirren have done well in the last 3 seasons, finished top 6 in each of those, and Stephen Robinson has got high hopes for this season as well. He's brought in Shamal George, former Livingston goalkeeper, to play in goal. It's the back three of Fraser, Gogic and King. Richardson and Declan John will be the 2 wide players, with Phillips, Taylor and O'Hara in the midfield. Roland Dodoe, I think, due a breakout season. He was terrific as well last term. And Miko Mandron, the 2 up front for St Mirren. Celtic obviously expected to win. They usually do on opening day. And I'll tell you what, if they do, they'll already be 2 points ahead of Rangers.
Beautiful sunshine up in Glasgow, so they can savour the one day of it this year. Yeah, sensational. Listen, Paul, stay there. We're going to talk to you about Russell Martin and his Rangers comments in a second, but if you haven't heard them, let's remind you, he's managed just 270 minutes of football as Rangers head coach, but he is already publicly criticising his players. They had a 1-1 draw with Motherwell at Ibrox in their opening Scottish Premiership fixture. Martin said his players were lucky to get a point. Now, on Wednesday in Athens, Martin acknowledged that performances could have been better across Rangers' 2-legged Champions League qualifying win over Panathinaikos, but he said he was so proud of his players. Things weren't the same yesterday. After the draw with St Mirren, the new Rangers boss didn't hold back when assessing his side's performance.
I think we were lucky to get a point. We were nowhere near where we need to be, and I'm extremely disappointed and hurt by that. They were braver than us, they were more aggressive than us. There is a default here. The default is to revert to type, which is when it's going really well, everyone's all in, it's really good. When it's not going well, you protect yourself a little bit, and the self-preservation stuff. So we had 2 men on the pitch today that want to do what they want to do. When you want to just jog around and do what you want to do, there's a big problem. So some of them have to drop their ego.
That was a furious manager. First game of the season. First furious manager of the season. But I like that he's setting a high standard. It's just about whether he's got the relationship with the club to currently speak how he's been speaking. Paul, I wanted to ask you about how the newspapers, how the media have reacted to Russell Martin's comments up in Scotland today.
It's been very interesting to see. I mean, we've had headlines basically saying, you know, he's had a go, he's come out. Is it risk reward? Will this work? Philippe Clement came out with a few comments about this squad as well. It didn't work out for him, and this seems to be a problem. I think what Russell Martin, and I'm sure he will realise, he's a clever guy, but it's one thing being manager of Southampton and you get a little bit of heat, local radio and, you know, national radio, but this is front page, back page news all over the place. Anything that you say as Rangers manager, Celtic manager particularly, will be looked at. Now, he was probably right about what he said, but I mean, the comment that I've had most from guys in the chat is he's thrown his players under the bus for a draw at Motherwell. Is that the wisest course of action? I don't doubt what he says was correct. I just think he's gone a little bit early.
Do you know what, Paul? You said that Panathinaikos was a tricky tie, right, and you get through that. But he got sent off, didn't he, in a pre-season friendly where he lost it with the referee. And you said about Southampton and Rangers. Rangers, the pressure there is 20 more times than what it is at Southampton. And you know what players are like, the modern-day players? You can say to that them in the dressing room and say, you know, that's not good enough. A couple of you have let yourselves down. You haven't put 100% effort, whatever. Then you come out public. Then the players look at you going, calm yourself down, mate. We could be longer than what you are. So, yeah, I think
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, Panathinaikos, they could have been 2-0 down at Ibrox before they scored. They could have been 2-0 down in Athens before they scored. It was a real good dig-in performance. Jack Putland, I think, saved them in both legs, and they kicked on to win. I'm with you, though. I think you can say that in the dressing room. You cannot come out after your first league game, really, and say that and expect the players to go, aye, OK, boss, you know, we'll come along with you. I think that's a real risk. And as I say, everything just gets expanded. You know, big papers up here, That's the story from yesterday. It's not necessarily about the players and how badly some of them may have played. It's about what the manager has said, and he's immediately brought all the focus onto himself.
Paul, thank you very much indeed.
Paul.
The game about to kick off at Celtic Park between Celtic and St Mirren. Callum McGregor, the Celtic captain's just walked out on the pitch with the trophy. So it is done after that draw for Rangers yesterday.
What if they win today? 2 points, they're never going to catch that up.
Already celebrating, if you like. No, I'm only joking. He's, of course, brought it out because they are the defending champions. Just something ceremonial before the game today. The only thing, listen, I'm a big fan of Russell Martin, and I think he can be a great success at Rangers. I feel like it is a very good appointment. Clearly, in the early stages, he's trying to set out his stall about what he thinks is acceptable, but he's also trying to change the tone and change the narrative about the team, right? He's done that at other clubs. He's trying to do it at Rangers. The only thing I'd say is it's he's not from Glasgow. He's been up there before and he's been a Rangers player, but it's not like it's his community. Take some time to learn about the club, because the thing that didn't surprise me that he called out the players. The thing that did surprise me is his comments about the club, where he said kind of this has been the culture here for a while, and he kind of took some shots at the group of players, but also at the kind of football club. It's like, it's not yet really your club to be taking shots at. They're your players, that's fair enough. But the club itself, be very careful, because they'll be staunchly defending of their club if you get a bit over the line.
Yeah, but also, he's had a full pre-season with these players, so he's had the chance to impart his ideas and his philosophy. And there wasn't, I haven't heard the old interview, but there is, if it had come out and said, that's not good enough, that's not the standards I want to reach, but that's down to me, I will take full responsibility, because I'm the one who picks the team, I'm the one who puts the players on the pitch. You can say something different in the dressing rooms, and again, he'll be looking at players, and there might be, he mentioned there was 2 or 3 that, didn't reach the standard, did their own thing, right? But you can dig them out individually in the dressing room, say, not good enough, effort weren't good enough, and then it'll be interesting to see how many changes he makes in his next game, because if he drops 2 or 3 players, the 2 or 3 players he's on about, that sends a message, right? But he's got to take ownership as well. And you mentioned about egos. Sometimes a manager, all got egos, right? But sometimes you have to calm your own ego down a little bit and realise, and he's not an inexperienced manager, how you deal with the press. And what Paul's saying there is, you are under so much scrutiny when you're the Rangers manager, when you're Celtic manager. It is, everything that you do is reported. Every single thing, everything that you say will be referenced back against you.
Every word. So
I think that he could have taken more responsibility there. And you know what the players do? They go, the gaffer's like, he's protected us there. We'll buy into him more.
That again, he made it. It's not that direct comment where he called out the players. He also said at one point the issues today weren't tactical. So he almost, it wasn't a win together, lose together mentality. It was, I've set them up perfectly. They've had an issue, and I didn't like that, but hopefully early on he's going to learn from this experience. Anyway, Russell Martin there, the Rangers boss. Celtic about to get underway against St Mirren. We'll keep you right up to date here on talkSPORT. But next on the Sunday session, Bill Medley, Jennifer Warnes, exactly. I think this is banter, because this song has come in from Caitlin, who's an Arsenal fan. Last 10 years of Son at Spurs, and she said, I've had the time of my life.
See you later.
So I think she's putting salt in the wound.
That is you off a long run-up on the British Lions, 2-footed tackle, elbows going in, Cantona style.
Caitlin, you're mischievous. Thank you very much for the message nonetheless. Up next, we'll be joined by former Premier League manager Alan Pardew, ahead of his show coming up at 5 p.m. We'll have more news on Heung-min Son as well.
10k for Coldplay.
Time is running out to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. You'll have the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd. Full hospitality. We'll also chuck in that 10 grand spending money completely tax-free. It all ends tomorrow, so here's how to enter. Of course, it's 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. You've got to text the word WIN to 83338. That's 83338. By the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you'll be in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You've got to have the bill payer's permission. You can also post your entry to Coldplay competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. It's a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com. You're listening to the Sunday. It's nice, easy read, isn't it, Alan? I did all right. Anyway, you're listening to the Sunday session. Hugh Woozencroft, Arsenal title winner. Perry Groves is here, and Alan Pardew, the former Crystal Palace, Newcastle, West Ham manager, is here as well, with the final word coming up at 5 p.m. alongside Majestic. And a bit of breaking news to bring you. We've been talking about Heung-min Son, of course, at Tottenham Hotspur, leaving the club after 10 years. Tottenham have reached an agreement in principle with LAFC to sell Son in a deal worth £15 million.
That's good money.
It's good money, I think.
That's very good money. And we were saying earlier, he deserves to go and have that semi-retirement party, and he deserves, like, for the career that he's had, just to go.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be looking at it as semi-retirement, though, in his mind. You know, it's like a new challenge, isn't it, for him? But, I mean, the money sounds good for a player who's done fantastic service, been such an icon really at Spurs. So yeah, and we're talking about that in our show, because Madge, obviously being Spurs fanatic,
should he have gone sooner, do you think?
I'm not sure about that. No. I think it's nice to see him sort of get some credit and some, good feeling towards him, because he's one of those players who's not really upset anybody, is he? He's just a good person.
Exemplary.
Playing exactly.
And the thing is,
behaviour on and off the pitch.
I think a lot of the Spurs fans knew that was his last season in the Premier League last season anyway, because you saw him play light, I saw him play, that his legs had gone for the Premier League. So he'll be a different sort of player in the MLS.
Yeah, he will.
You know what I mean? You said he might play a little bit deeper, he might play in midfield, because...
It wouldn't stun me if he played up front in the US. I think he could score plenty of goals.
But then you're relying on service from other people.
Yeah, if it falls to him, he's got a good chance of putting it in the back of the net, I think.
When you see some of those games and you see the big star, the big names, they stand out because the quality around them isn't that great, particularly on the levels that the Premier League's at. So Son will definitely be a star there.
You've been enjoying the cricket today?
I went to the cricket. I took Ross, the producer. We was up on the terrace there. And it was enjoyable just to, everyone's a bit nervous. We might not win it. The Indians are going to do us. No, cruised it.
56 runs left for England. Absolutely
nice
fantastic.
atmosphere, though. Lovely. Met some lovely people there, and it was a great. It's a great event, isn't it? The cricket.
The thing is, with the cricket as well, with the Bazball, with Brendan McCullum, and their philosophy, people are now forgetting that Ben Stokes ain't playing. You know what I mean? They've lost their main player.
Yeah.
But you know what it's like with the manager or the coach, Brendan McCullum. The players know if they try and execute what he wants them to do and the way he wants to play, he'll back them 100%. If it does work or it doesn't work. And this is the only test team that could have actually chased down this amount of runs without any shadow of a doubt, because of their culture and because of the philosophy and the way that they're told that they want to play.
Yeah, I think it's like the third, fourth time they've run down massive scores, isn't it, to win tests.
What else have you got for us alongside Majestic?
Well, we're going to go through, I'm going to sort of decipher some of the managerial chit-chat. I know you've been talking about the Rangers manager, etc., etc. So we'll I'll try and put some kind of...
in a word, should he have done it, yes or no, Russell Martin?
Well, it depends.
On the fence.
You'll have to listen to the match.
LMA's Alan Pardew there.
But the thing is, Pardew, with Eddie Howe, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be asked about, isn't it? As a manager, you know that the press people say to him, Isak, don't ask about Isak, right? You know for well that Isak's going to come. I think his quotes today were really good. He should just say, it's out of my control. As soon as you say that, then there's nowhere to go, is there?
Well, it's also a slightly dangerous line because obviously the perception of how much control you have is always questioned, particularly, not just at Newcastle, all the big clubs. Who's actually doing the signings? Are you a big part of it? Have you got the final say? These are the questions that managers get fired at all the time. So you have to get the balance right. And as I say, I'll be talking about that later with Madge, a bit more into detail about trying to sort of look at the middle ground of what's been said, like the grey areas.
Yeah. Okay. They're coming up at 5 p.m, so very, very shortly you'll be alongside Majestic here on talkSPORT with the final word. That's Alan Pardew. And if you want to get your calls in for the gents, you can start now, 03717 223344. Sure, there's going to be a lot to talk about. And Alan, you'll be delighted to know there's another century at the Oval. talkSPORT, Sam Ellard.
It was Harry Brook before tea. It's now Joe Root after tea. England 325 for 4. Cruising to their target of 374, needing 49 more runs to win. Joe Root is in the form of his life. He's got his 39th Test match 100. This one coming off 137 balls with a flick into the leg side, and it feels a long time ago now when Ollie Pope was dismissed this morning and England were struggling on 106 for 3. They have remarkably changed this game around, all thanks to the fourth wicket partnership. 195 runs between Brook and Root. Brook made 111, dismissed before tea. Now Root's got to a century. Jacob Bethel at the other end. We are perhaps around half an hour away from England winning this Test match. They need a further 49 runs to win.
Sam, thank you very much indeed. India helping our very own Joe Root chase down Sachin Tendulkar. Hopefully he gets there in the next couple of years, but he's had a couple of good knocks during this Test series, hasn't he? Anyway, tonight's edition of After the Lights Go Out features the former Newcastle, Sunderland and Cardiff striker Michael Chopra. Great goal scorer during his career, but during his spell, Michael suffered from a chronic gambling addiction. That led him into serious debt as well as getting on the wrong side of gangsters. Here he tells our very own Leon McKenzie and Steve Harmison about a particular low point during his time playing for Ipswich.
I was getting text messages in the morning saying we'd come to the training ground, so when I'm training, I'm looking about. I can't focus, do you know what I mean? There was a guy standing there pretending to get an autograph, and he was telling me, listen, you better get in the club and sort that money out now. Yet in the training ground car park there was a car full of people that were waiting, do you know what I mean, sort of thing. So I used to go to bed at night. I used to have like chairs pushed up against the door so nobody could get in. If people did get in, then I was sleeping, had like kitchen knives by the side of my bed and that sort of thing. It was talking about my worst experiences and hitting rock bottom. That was probably it.
Michael Chopra there. You can hear After the Lights Go Out with him tonight from 8 p.m. here on talkSPORT. All the podcasts as well from the series available from wherever you get your podcasts from. And the series has been brilliant. Leon and Steve doing a fantastic job, but so open their guests have been, telling us about their lives, including Michael Chopra there, and in a fairly serious fashion.
Brutally honest. And what Michael Chopra is saying there is obviously when you hit rock bottom and the situation he was in, there's always hope and there's always help. If you reach out, which he did, and he got his help and he got his counselling. He mentioned about Sporting Chance in there, and one of his other bits of his interview. And the gambling one, obviously myself suffering from alcoholism, the addictions, gambling is the not the worst one, but it's the hardest one, because all the other addictions you can see. You can see with if you're addicted to drugs, you can see what's happening, effects it's having on you. You can see if you're addicted to alcohol, you can't see that effect. And as Michael's saying there, other people, probably 2 or 3 people have only known. Other people wouldn't have known the depths that he was in. And it's brilliant the way that obviously he's turned it all around. And him doing that interview, I used to say, if it affects one person, and one person then thinks, yes, I can reach out, I can go and get help straight. But it's not that one person, it's the ripple effect of the family that goes on around them. It's not just that one person it affects all the families and all your close friends and whatever. So, it's brilliant that Michael's there able to be brutally honest, with, the situation that he found himself in. And it will help people without any shadow of a doubt. It will help people. The more you talk about it, the more it helps people.
Make sure you check it out. There'll be plenty more from Michael Chopra's career, I'm sure, to discuss as well with the guys on After the Lights Go Out tonight, 8 p.m. here on talkSPORT. And remember, if you miss it tonight, You can get it as a podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Okay, let's check in on the early action at Celtic Park with talkSPORT's Paul Mitchell.
No great surprises. Celtic have seen more of the ball and have had more of the chances. Nothing too concrete, though. Shamal George did come out bravely to save at the feet of Arameda. Ida was chasing through the ball, collided with the goalkeeper. Required a little bit of attention, but thankfully he's okay. St Mirren themselves looking to play a little bit of football when they can. They're not rushing it out of defence, which is very refreshing to see. 30 minutes gone at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, St Mirren 0.
Okay, final sound of the weekend. I think we've got another dig on our hands here.
Was another Arsenal fan?
It's Sherry, a Liverpool fan, moving on up. Sort of LAFC.
Yeah, he's going up
to the MLS. Yeah. harsh, but they probably did finish higher in their division than Spurs did last season.
That's the beauty of football fans. It is brutal, isn't it? Football fans are brutal. Where you can have some of it's irony, but some of it is actually a little bit diggy. Have some of that.
It is a fantastic song nonetheless, so thank you, Sherry, very much indeed. We like a tune. Up next, everyone's favourite feature to finish. We've got Statterface.
Sounds of the weekend on the Sunday session on talkSPORT.
Very wishful thinking from George, the Brentford fan, sending us apologise by Timberland regarding the Roy Keane story, because I don't think you were ever going to get an apology out of him anyway, even if there was one owed. And the Sun story, you had 13th floor elevators, you're going to miss me. That's from Kobe, the Ipswich Town fan. And I think they are going to miss him. Maybe not on the pitch at the moment, but as a person, he's been a stellar ambassador for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So thank you very much for your suggestions throughout the show on Sounds of the Weekend. Really, really appreciated, guys. I'm Hugh Woozencroft alongside Perry Groves. Perry, got something to say? You ready to go?
Ready to go for
This.
Statterface.
I'm a scat man.
He's 19 years of age. He only made his little debut 12 years ago. No manager has ever started their Premier League career with as many pints as you have. Naturally, Young has been replaced as well by Sean Dyche. Oh, God, he's doing it right in the peanuts.
Sam Matterface.
I'm a scat man.
Yes, it's Statterface. No Sam Matterface this week, but come on, we've got to do it nonetheless. And I'm going to start with the Lionesses, because after their impressive Euro win, England ace Chloe Kelly's tournament-winning penalty, no less, against Spain, was measured to be faster than last season's most powerful goal in the Premier League. Her penalty into the roof of the net registered at 68 miles an hour, or 110 kilometres per hour, if you'd rather use that system. But yeah, fantastic.
Do you know what? It was the old-fashioned put your laces through it, wasn't it? But with technique as well. Yeah. It made him move. There's Ray Stewart used to play for West Ham. That was his penalties. Put the ball down, and Julian Dix, get it, just smash it, get a good contact. Goalkeeper's got no chance. The thing that was funny with her interview afterwards, she said, I don't miss 2 penalties on the trot, because she missed, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And she went, oh yeah, I did. I missed 2 in training. No, again, mental strength, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just going, right, I'll go from my routines.
Do you know what? She plays like she enjoys those pressure moments. She enjoys them. It's like she's desperate to get to the other side of it so she can just celebrate. And so I don't think she probably sees them in the same way most of us would.
No, but also she dragged the team up in the second half, because the first half we were getting overrun by Spain, couldn't get the ball. You know, they were upset because Lauren James was playing, wasn't fit. She came on, and her energy completely transformed the second half in the first 90 minutes, and gets a brilliant assist, obviously, for Rousseau's header as well. So fantastic. 6 different teams from Yorkshire played and won in the EFL yesterday. The most teams from the county play on a single day, with 100% of them winning since October the 20th, 2012. And the Yorkshire team, Joe Root's Yorkshire, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So what a weekend.
Yeah, you're right. You're
cup
right.
of tea,
unless you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, of course, but you didn't play this weekend, obviously.
And hopefully they'll play next weekend.
Yeah, we're fingers crossed on that one, yeah. That stat is just an incredible stat to have been picked out, full stop. I don't know who we got it from, but just for anyone to even notice that, someone in Yorkshire went, hold on a minute, all our teams won today. And it's like got out there to the rest of the world, so there you go. All right, Cardiff City's Ronan Capaccio, the youngest player to score in a team's opening EFL game of the season since Crystal Palace's Wilfred Zaha at the age of 17 years old and 270 days against Leicester back in 2010-2011. Ronan Capaccio is already 18, actually, so it shows you how great Zaha was doing as a 17-year-old to get on the score sheet way back when. But congratulations to him, and hopefully he has a good run in the team.
He played really well, like in a flat back 4. He played more like a wing back. Obviously, that's Brian Barry Murphy. He wants his full-backs to push on, and it was really. I still think the goalkeeper could have done better. I still think it went over the top of him, but it was.
But congratulations nonetheless.
Brilliant finish. That was a brilliant finish. There we go. Including at home to newly promoted Rollins today, MK Dons has now failed to have a shot on target in 5 different league games in 2025. At least 2 more times than any other club across England's top 4 tiers.
Crazy.
No shots.
A lot is expected of Paul Warne. So many people, including most of our EFL pundits, have put MK Dons down as their favourites.
Spent a bit of money as well, haven't they? Yeah.
To not have a shot on target to start the season is not great news. But I've still got faith in Paul Warne. He's a bit of a specialist.
He's got
level
4 promotions, I think, isn't he? From like League Two and League One.
Yeah,
exactly. So he's the Neil Warnock of the League Two.
Exactly.
League One,
So you've got to have faith in him, but they're going to have to be better going forward if they are going to be promoted. That's for sure. Okay, let's go back to the Oval, because there has been another wicket for talkSPORT. Sam Millard.
Yeah, England now 5 down, 332 for 5, still needing 42 runs to win, and we don't expect Chris Woakes to bat. So effectively, let's say that's 6 down. So while England might be favourites, India, with 2 quickish wickets, have given themselves half a chance. Not a particularly great shot from Jacob Bethel, charging down the track, trying to smash Pradesh Krishna back over his head, ends up getting bowled for 5. But while Joe Root's there, England will still believe. Big cheers as the local boy Jamie Smith comes to the middle. England 332 for 5, still needing 42 to win.
If you're just joining us earlier on in League One, we brought you Stockport 2, Bolton Wanderers 0 over on talkSPORT 2. There's been a couple of games in the Scottish Premiership. It's ended Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2, full-time Dundee 1, Hibernian 2, and the game halfway through the first half at Celtic Park. talkSPORT's Paul Mitchell.
It's Celtic 0, St Mirren 0, but entertaining fixtures so far. St Mirren, when they get the chance, are trying to move forward, but the game being dominated by Celtic. Kieran Tierney, who's just re-signed from Arsenal, looks like he's never been away. Twice he's crossed on the left-hand side for Adam Ada unable to get them on target. And Dazan Maida from a quick free kick did get round the goalkeeper, but his cutback found no takers in the box. Plenty of pressure from Celtic, no goals thus far. Celtic 0, St Mirren 0.
Perry, before you go, just wanted to ask you about where you stand on the title race right now. We've got a month to go of the transfer window. Some teams have done some incredible work, including your beloved Arsenal. Liverpool, of course, could sign Alexander Isak before the window closes. It seems like there's some work to be done on that one, though, if it is to happen. Manchester City have added a lot of players in January and this summer. Chelsea too. The question is really, if you feel the title race as it currently stands is wide open, a number of teams that you think you wouldn't be surprised to see win it?
I don't think it's wide open. I think Liverpool are probably just favourites. And if they buy, obviously, Isak, then you see it in the book is that there'd be even
strong
bigger favourites because of the goals that he brings. But also that comes pressure because expectations are higher than what they were for Liverpool last season. Arne Slot, we talked about egos, didn't we, with Russell Martin and players. Arne Slot had no ego when he went to Liverpool because he didn't try and have a revolution. It was just like, okay, I'll just tweak it a little bit. Now this is his team. So more pressure. They were expected to win at least the Premier League or the Champions League, whereas last season, if they'd got into the Champions League positions, that would have been seen in the transition. So winning it was a bonus, which they deserve. But they've gone what Manchester United used to do under Sir Alex Ferguson is when you're successful, you go and strengthen not just your squad, you strengthen your first team. So Kirkes is an upgrade on Robertson. So Frimpong has come in for Trent Alexander-Arnold, whether it's going to be Bradley or Frimpong there. Then Florian Wirtz has come in, obviously, to play in at 10. So I think that Arsenal and Liverpool have had really, really good transfer windows. And if we manage to get Eberechi Eze as well, that will be, as I said before, the cherry on the ice on the cake.
Okay, so you're saying it's not wide open?
No, I think it's Liverpool, Arsenal. Okay. I think Man City will be the outsiders because, again, it's this evolution from Guardiola with likes of Kevin De Bruyne, like massive players that they're missing. I still don't think Man City are good enough at the back. I still don't think they're good enough.
They aren't, but there are a lot of players in that area of the pitch who were out for substantial periods last year. Manuel Akanji, Nathan Ake, players with experience who are probably going to make their defence more solid. I'm not going to say they're going to be the best defence in the league or anything like that. They've obviously added Ryan Aït-Nouri and probably more conventional fullbacks as well to their team.